Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise. Clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We're back, we're here, we are live on this Friday afternoon with a whole bunch of stuff to talk about in the world of boxing and beyond, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. On today, we got some talking with Ryan Garcia versus Barrios is happening in 2 weeks. A very big fight at 147. Yes, indeed, for the redemption or downfall of Ryan Garcia, as well as so much more in the world of boxing and beyond. News over the week that we weren't able to cover because I had some stuff I had to do on Thursday, so it's gonna be a whole lot of conversation as well as some announcements with the essentially the whole career trajectory with Usyk. Don't forget, if you didn't know, we now got Usyk, who's got a mandatory up to date after his voluntary opponent that he's going to be taking later on this year. Who is that going to be? We're going to tell that with you. We're going to tell that to you, excuse me. Absolutely, and with so much more. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for it. NBA All-Star break is also coming through. We got a whole bunch of sports that we're going to have to cover. So we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate all the time, the energy, the effort that you are and that you bring to the table on this show. And please, if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If you haven't, go ahead and get the likes up on this stream. Keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions. Put your comments in the chat down below. We want to hear from you on anything involving the world of boxing and beyond. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel. Come on and join the empire. Come on and be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Rate us 5 stars the way we listen to podcasts. And please be sure to do the most important thing, which is share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make this community bigger, better, stronger, and oh, so much more dominant throughout the media landscape, all with you telling people where to go and what to see when it comes to the place to be, which is right here on our show, The Welch Report, the hottest show in all of the globe. So we appreciate your time. Don't forget, this is indeed Friday, so it's indeed the championship rounds for the whole of this show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Every Friday, we do it here. We do it live. You control the flow of the show for the entirety of as long as we go. All you got to do is put yourself in the chat. Let your voice be seen and heard for the masses to see and by me, so we can have you control the whole dynamics of where this show goes for as long as it may go. Who knows? It could go 1 hour, 2 hours. Shoot, we went 5 hours at one point because of how much further we were talking all throughout this show. So I can't wait to see what you got to say. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions. Oh, and if you like what we got going on and you want to keep supporting the channel, we have Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as Super Chat, Super Gifts, and all the other means of giving, stickers and whatnot through YouTube. If you can support the channel, it would mean the world to me to help us go and make this community bigger, better, and stronger, help make this show even better for you to witness and enjoy. No question about it. I can't do this without you. With viewers like you are exactly why this shows it would be even up and running, because you all mean the world to me. Absolutely. But with all that being said, we appreciate your time, your effort, and just you being here. No question about it. But without further ado, hey, we got a jam-packed show to cover. We got a whole bunch of stuff to dive into. We got boxing to talk about, and we got sports to cover. So let's do what we do best. Let's get into boxing. Let's get into sports. Let's get into the show. And it is time to step into the ring. And it's time for the championship rounds. Yes, indeed. Come on. Come on. Buddy. Oh, yeah. Let's get it running. Let's get it started. Got my coffee, got my drinks, got my food. I'm all set and ready to go. I can't wait to see what you all got to say on today as we got our first chatter of the day. I just want the true truth. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. We're so happy that you're here, that you're live, that you're tuned in with us on this auspicious occasion of our show. Let me see what you got to say on today real quick. Brandon Gallatin will beat the brakes off of Apataya. Now, this is a good connection because if you didn't know, Zuffa now just has their first major event of their tenure finally announced, with Jai Apataya fighting for the Zuffa Championship at Cruiserweight, going up against, again, Brandon Gallatin. If you did not know, that is now going down. This is all because Jai Apataya is one of the first major stars to sign with Zuffa and the whole Dana White regime of Zuffa Boxing. Now going to be potentially the first title holder of their belt. Now, if you think that Brandon Galton is going to, as you say, beat the brakes off of Apataya, I don't think that's going to be the case. That's just me. That's just me. Yes, both of them got a very high knockout ratio. Yes, both of them have been very much fervently punishing opposition. I just think Apatai's a better fighter all around, with no disrespect to Galton. And also, as much as Dana White is how do we say it? As much as Dana White is indeed all about putting the best competition in front of each other, which we've seen in the UFC over the course of a number of years, at least up until these last couple of years in UFC, when the matchups ain't been as good. But even still, I doubt that he's going to put Jai Apatai when he wants to have a flagship name to give this belt some legitimacy. There's some business behind this. I doubt, even with the latent power of Gallatin, or Galton, excuse me, I don't think Apatai's going to beat he's going to lose his first fight for a title when it's supposed to be, this is our magnum opus of a star. I just don't think Dana White would do that. First off, especially since he's trying to get Jai Apatai to be able to still be in position to fight for the Ring Magazine titles in that cruiserweight against Zurdo Ramirez or even Dave Benavidez for a potential big mega fight appeal with Zuffa as the backing thing. I don't think he's going to match up with somebody that's going to lose the first fight out. No, we try to keep the integrity of this sport, the integrity. We also see the business behind it. So, I don't know if he does get beat, my gosh, we're going to be rethinking some things. I don't think that he's going to get beat by Gallatin. That's my pick. F.A. versus Charles Martin per different. F.A. Ajagba versus Charles Martin. F.A. Ajagba better beat Charles Martin. He better. He better. My gosh, he better. Wasn't the last time that we saw Charles Martin fight? He got knocked out, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, one of the more recent fights that he was in, he got knocked out cold on the floor, slumped over the ropes. I can't remember if that was the most recent fight or if that was one fight removed from his last fight. But even still, I am not a fan of Charles Martin. Just as a fighter, I never thought he was all that great. And I know F.A. Ajagba, from the standpoint of talent, at this stage in his career, he should be able to beat him. He better beat him. Yes, I'm not saying Charles Martin is just supposed to be some pushover. You can walk over and do whatever. But to be perfectly honest, kind of, yeah. Because one, I want to see F.A. versus Mark McCauley rematch each other. And two, F.A. job is in the top 10. There is nobody within that top 10 that should be losing to the likes of Charles Martin. Strictly because Charles Martin, in my opinion, is well and good over the hill. As well as much of a championship pedigree that he had for the short amount of time that he did, because he was heavyweight champion at one point in time, since that stint, it's nothing that's shown that he's still got that. The biggest thing he's shown that he had any type of that level of ability was against Jared Anderson when he lost that fight, but he could have knocked him out. And then subsequently afterwards, lost. Now, I think another loss. And so I'm not sold on Charles Martin as like a big threat. It should be easy work for the likes of F.A. Ajagba. Should be. But we're going to find out afterwards whether or not it is or is not. But even still, as we continue to have your thoughts and opinions, and as we continue to have your voices be heard on the whole of this show, as this is still the championship rounds, no question about it, we still want to hear your thoughts on everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. We got more stuff to cover that we can't talk about, like we see in the title. Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. Oh, gosh, I put 2 R's behind Mario. There we go. Mario Barrios is getting ready to happen over the course of, not this weekend, but I think next weekend, the 21st of February. Also, happy Black History Month once again to everybody around on the YouTube airspace. Hey, we're black and we're proud. I'm black and I'm proud. Let me not say we, because I don't know who's watching. But I'm but even still, we appreciate all of you tuning in and listening. See, I walk this earth like I got. Now, I don't know who said that quote. If it was Charles Martin, my gosh, Lord. If it was Charles Martin that said that, God been put down a couple times. Yeah, I'm not going. I'm being perfectly honest. God's been knocked out. If it was Charles Martin that said that, Lord knows. My gosh, my goodness. If it was F.A. Jogba that said that, well, shoot, you, brother, you a demigod, maybe. Because you ain't been looking nearly as immutable as you're supposed to. When it comes to your talent, okay, if one of those two are the ones that said this quote, but even still, we got a world of competition. Or this is reference to Ryan Garcia. Like I said, I can't remember who said this quote, but if it's in reference to any of these three, I don't really fall on any of their shoulders. But if it's in reference to this fight, well, Ryan Garcia may have to walk like a guy because he, at this point in time, but he is on his last legs, his words, not mine, when it comes to his trajectory in his career, because the redemption for Ryan Garcia, redemption or downfall, that is the poise of conversation when it comes to the likes of Ryan Garcia leading into this fight. But let me see what you guys say real quick. Truth, he's only been KO'd by AJ and Ortiz. I got Martin, right hook will KO effort. And I'll say, if he does, yes, he got knocked out by Ortiz and got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Yes, I understand. It is at the point in time since Charles Martin, or rather since Charles Martin has faced Anthony Joshua. Getting knocked out by AJ is not a bad thing. Okay, no, I'm not holding that. Again, he was outclassed, absolutely. But getting knocked out by him is not a bad thing. I'm not holding that against him. I'm saying subsequently afterwards, that same level of you should be, if you are really like that, at least in a vein of consistent conversation around that near upper echelon of the heavyweight landscape. He just hasn't been there. F.A. Jogba, as much as we can say he had a draw against Charles Martin McCullers, some people said he lost, some people said he won. At this stage, just at this stage in their career, that experience, from my optics, hasn't really translated to being able to give me confidence that amongst this current regime of the, again, top 10-esque level heavyweight diaspora, he isn't there to compete. Though if he does compete and keeps on stepping up, great. I'm not holding getting knocked out isn't the concern. Because anybody can get knocked out, especially at the heavyweight division. No, I'm not trying to go that way. Oh, he got knocked out by these two. He's never gonna be able to do it. It's the look of a fighter that he's been like that has not impressed me. It hasn't. Not saying FA's done anything better of note, but I can say confident. I think FA's better than McCauley. Oh, excuse me. I think FA's better than Martin at this point in time. Absolutely, at this point, especially with an aging Martin, who, be frank, was going up against an aging Ortiz. And since then, even before that, it's just been, there's no leveling up or no consistency of staying at the skill level that got you that title in the first place. From what I've seen, that's my opinion. Again, if you may not agree, understandable. It's just my thought process surrounding this whole situation when it comes to Martin and Ortiz and Martin and F.A. And I just think F.A.'s gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be by knockout, but I think he's gonna win. He can knock him out, absolutely. You better be careful of that left straight coming out from Martin. That is a good tool, but outside of that, I just think that we're gonna see F.A. Jogba get it done, most likely by majority decision. If it's by KO, hey, even better, because I need to see that power on display, and if I see somebody, you should be able to get them out of there. Get them out of there. Do what you're supposed to do. Handle your business like you're supposed to. If this is the level of talent that you are at, do what you got to do. At least in my opinion, that's what I want to see. But we'll see. When it comes, we'll see exactly how it goes through. No question about it. But again, Garcia, Barrios, big fight coming up on this week, or rather not this week, but next week, within this month. Big fight coming up for the ramifications of one of the biggest latent stars in boxing, and a man who, again, redemption or downfall. The rise back up, climb back down, potential middle level, essentially limbo that we have with Ryan Garcia. We have a lot of people going through and are excited about the return of King Ryan, the return of one of the fastest hands in the land, who has the capacity to knock most people out with that latent power, with that elite level size for the division, as well as the excitement, the pomp and circumstance behind not just his skills, but the whole pageantry. Even the chaos that he brings makes everybody want to tune in. Yeah, sure, everybody's excited to see him come through. And yes, we're all looking at the downward road of the yellow brick road that can potentially be Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney in a rematch that we could potentially for a unified championship bout. Who wouldn't want to experience that? Oh my, oh my, oh my. That would be something incredible in terms of witnessing that type of grudge finally get put back on not just the top shelf, but back on full display one more time. However, we are looking at this and we're saying, well, as much as we've laden into all of the excitement surrounding his return, all of the I'll even go with the I can't even call it unspoken. We can even talk about the straight up ridicule that he's had on his return due to the fact that, again, still with the Austrian situation, still with everybody holding grudges against him for things, which, again, he did do. Like, I like he didn't do stuff. Like, I like he did deserve a lot of this ridicule that's been coming his way. However, all this is a swirling typhoon of not just media buzz, but just strictly noise in any way. It has the gravity of this fight really drawing in the public eye. And the question is, will this actually be redemption for Garcia? And in all honesty, it has to be redemption, because he's even said it himself, a thing that we've said on our own show when it comes to the propensity of the fan of boxing. Yes, you and me, the fans and media of the world, when it comes to this vaunted sport that we love. Absolutely. Always a problem. Oh, it can be a dilemma. It can be a hard task to have. No question about it. Strictly due to the fact that when we're looking at the consistent fickleness of fans, and I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in a reality type of way. Every single time we have scrutiny, deservedly so, which comes with a bunch of hate, which comes with a bunch of rhetoric and ridicule. We understand that completely. We're looking at this in this particular fight. Ryan is at a very sketchy position right now, which he's even talked about himself on the Zone and one of the clips. If I can find it while I'm talking, I'll get it to you. If I can't, then I'll just tell you what he said outright. But essentially, Ryan Garcia is at a point in time where he is at 3 losses in his career. If he gets his loss to Mario Barrios. And what did we say multiple times on this show? Boxing, unlike other sports, you don't get necessarily 3 strikes and you're out to prove your mettle or your worth or your fervor against other people, unless it's like you're some, again, vaunted legend that is oh so incredible, oh so phenomenal, oh so set apart amongst the rest of the world. It's very, especially in today's day and age. Man, I've been to think back then, but today, yeah, it is something that is a very sketchy. Or no, sketchy is the wrong word. Something that's very noticeable for the public eye, for the identity of fighters. You get 3 losses on your resume. You get 3. Shoot, you get 2. You all of a sudden you're seen as out the pasture, gone to pot. Everybody views you as a bum. Who are you and why do you exist in this sport? How dare? That's essentially what it kind of. How dare you step foot in this ring, and you deserve all this level of hype, praise, support, this, that, and the third, when you've been knocked out or you've been beaten multiple times. And you still want to say that you're all this in the bag of chips. Shoot, even after 1 loss, people start going off the bandwagon. You were nothing but a hype job. You were nothing but an outright fluke. Everything you are, everything that you represent, everything that you stand for is all built on a bag of lies. A bag of lies. Not a throne of gold, but a bag of lies is what your career is. That's how we've seen the public react. And with Ryan Garcia, in both of these situations, with the loss to Tank Davis, with the loss to Roller Romero, the loss to Roller Romero was the one that really did it over. As well as the drug cheat, no contest, and all that stuff that happened with Devin Haney, he's at this point in time where that same urgency of winning is now laden to fall on him. He is at a point in time. It's not a crossroads. It is a gap. It is a gaping hole of potential despair. That if he falls into it, my gosh, people may say, yeah, we may not become. Strictly due to the fact that if he gets that third loss against Barrios, my goodness, all of that star power, all of that charisma, all of that grandeur that's still around Ryan Garcia's name, he will never lose the whole of that stardom, but he'll never gain back what he had. Unless he goes on some sort of insane run. And with the way we look at Ryan Garcia right now, it's not likely if that's going to happen, even though he's so young. To have that type of uber legendary career that you get back to or even outshine with that first initial surge of all around propensity from the perspective of the laden identity within the boxing fan's mind. We'll get back to that. With a third loss. Especially with all the other stuff around your reputation. He is at a do or die standpoint right now, which again, he said himself on his own in an interview with Showbiz. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Chris Mannix. Not Showbiz, Chris Mannix. What's Chris Mannix? I think it was Chris Mannix. Am I wrong? Please correct. But even still, since he's saying, again, paraphrasing his quote, I can't get 3 losses. If I get a third loss, I suck. You can't get 3 losses in this sport. If you do, thrown away. Paraphrasing. That's essentially what he said. And that's what is going to happen for a lot of people when it comes to looking at Ryan Garcia. There is a do or die sentiment now. Because, especially with the fact that the losses that he's come from hasn't even been from the biggest names every single time. Like, we can talk about Canelo having 3 losses on his resume. Sure. But he lost to Floyd, he lost to Bivol, and now he lost to Terrence Crawford. You can say all you want about him in his career. People don't look at those losses, though, as just, oh my gosh, you suck. They don't. Especially with the rest of the reputation he's garnered over his career. We are looking at Ryan and saying from the best of the best at the point in time, which was Tank at that point in time, to Rolly, which for most people was seen as a very beatable hype job for a lot of people, myself included, that talked himself into a position that I felt he shouldn't have even been in because I didn't think it was that good. Let alone showed me wrong, proves his worth. I have no issue with anything, but the perspective of the view from a top of his career, from a top-down perspective, has a lot of people essentially saying, hey man, who are you? What are you? Why are you? When it comes to boxing. And you can't afford another misstep, especially against somebody who is seen as a beatable opposition. And we can talk about how Mario Barrios may be underrated by a lot of fans. What's the normal moniker around Mario Barrios? He is the weakest champion, or seen as the weakest champion, at 147 pounds. That's the normal moniker, is it not? Is it not? We talk about him going through and in his fight with Barrios, he is essentially going up against somebody who has been knocked out by Tank, who came up to 140 and beat him, who had a draw against Mario Barrios, who had a draw against Manny Pacquiao, when Mario Barrios fought against him in a fight that everybody thought, myself included, everybody, I don't know if Pacquiao should even have fought at 46, 48 years old, one of those two ages, with 6 years out the ring, straight up on retirement. Everybody was saying that should be easy work. And Pacquiao, yes, he showed up and he still got some stuff left in the tank. Understandable. We love to see a legend still be able to thrive. But for Barrios, my gosh, when it came to the optics on him as a fighter, everybody was saying, oh no, oh my, you couldn't get that done? And people started looking down on him. People start looking at him as a again a talent that has skills, but we shouldn't take it as seriously. Even though you could argue that shouldn't be the case, because because every time there's been a championship on the line he's fought for, he's been reigning. He's been the one defending. He's been the one that has had the belt of this division at 147. He's been one of the most consistent holders of a title throughout everybody else in this division. And even when he lost against Tank, guess what? He was fighting for a belt. So he's been there. So again, could be seen as underrated, but even still seen in the same way as Rolly Romero was seen against the likes of Ryan Garcia. Beatable. You should handle your business. You should go and get the job done. But if you don't, no matter how much I can tell the world, okay, this is the skill set of Barrios. This is the skill set of what he actually is. This is why he can beat Ryan Garcia. These are the traits, the attributes, the mindsets, the latent power that he has, the legit solid puncher that Barrios is, the range that he can use with his shots, the ability to take punishment and keep on going, the willingness to still dig deep and start to even up his game if need be in the later rounds. Talk about all that, but it doesn't matter because he, as a fighter, is seen as this is Ryan Garcia's crowning moment. I've even said that myself. I will be a first one to say when this opportunity came about, I was telling all of you all this is the best opportunity for Ryan Garcia to finally get the crowning moment that he hasn't had over the course of his career. Yes, he knocked out Campbell to the body. Understandable. That was for an interim title. A legit world championship that every other one of his confidants or his peers or the people that have been around him, they've garnered. They've been able to hold on to. They've been able to gain. They have been able to attach to their name, I am a full-fledged champ. All of them have been able to do that. But he has not. That's the truth. For all the things that we've said about every other champion of that kind of, I don't want to call it graduating class, but of that same class of stardom that came and popped on the scene all at the same time with Devin Haney, with Gervonta Davis, with Teofimo Lopez, with Ryan Garcia. That whole regime, the Big Four, as it was called at one point in time, they just, regardless of whatever failures, regardless of whatever successes, they were able to get gold. They had that moment. They had that initiation. They had that crowning achievement, that arrival. That's the best way to put it. They had their arrival moment. They stepped out onto the scene with a moment in time that was undeniable. All of them have had that. You are a champion. Period. Period. Nothing else to say at that point in time. You have reached the crescendo that we expected you to get to. Ryan still hasn't done that yet. He's fought everybody. Yes. But he ain't done that yet. And he could have done it against Devin Haney if he had been clean against Devin Haney, but he wasn't clean against Devin Haney. So that whole fight was under question and he still didn't get no belt for it. And he got banned, ridiculed, fined, all that stuff. And it's been at this point in time, with everything that everybody else has been able to cultivate throughout their careers, with how this sport is when it's from the standpoint of a perspective of talent, as well as a perspective of time, you, be perfectly honest, you ain't got time just to sit around and wait. More than anything, you don't got time to fail. You don't. If you're Ryan Garcia, you don't got time to fail. You don't. If you did have, you don't have time to fail, because you are As much as you may not like hearing it, you're behind the eight ball against every other one of your confidants. If you don't get it done now, my gosh. As everybody's career continue to grow and grow and grow, you're just stuck. And you don't need it. Don't need it, especially not right now. Devin Haney being the best at 147. Straight up. With his championship pedigree. The fact that now Teal's been unified, Shakur 4 division, even Tank, as much as we can talk against him, had his moments. You're lagging behind. You can't afford to let this specific moment pass you by. Because if it does, man, oh boy, it's going to be it's going to be the beginning of the talk of underwhelming career that begins to take hold on your career. That's going to happen. The conversation of an underwhelming career. The question of what if. The question of why couldn't he. The question of what went wrong. That will start to be like a vice grip, a vine, a weed around the conversation of your own career. You even admitted yourself, hey, look, I'm not a Hall of Famer right now. Absolutely. But that conversation becomes even much more harder when now it goes from, okay, he still got some time to grow, to what went wrong that made it so that this career that we thought could have been such a great thing fell flat. Where did the potential go? What let the potential pass him by? How did this type of physical capability all go null and void right before our eyes, when everybody else that he should have had at least some advantages over, with the same opposition that his peers faced, he couldn't get it done? What happened? When you get those questions asked about your career, that's where stuff gets very sketchy. That's getting close to the point of no return when it comes to the outlook of your life as a boxer, your legacy. Once people start asking why, that stuff gets that's a very scary situation. That's a very scary situation. When people start asking why, when it comes to you and your career, stuff gets very, that is a bad sign. Because that question is normally, why couldn't he get it done? It's not why you succeeded. It's why you didn't. That's most of the time when that question comes into play. And that's because of a latent, untapped potential that eroded away because you lack of success. And people will hold on to that. They'll ignore all the other stuff. And I don't want it to happen to Ryan Garcia. As a boxer, I don't want it to happen to Ryan Garcia. But that's what we can see take place. No question about it. We got more people in the chat, like with Boxing Pro. What's going on with it? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. We've been here since 12. Around 12:25, 12:30. So we appreciate all of you tuning into the show. What's going on with you? Truth Barrios by KO. And he could do it. He could do it. He could do it. Understand? And so I was trying to look. I was trying to give out some news on Twitter. That's why I was looking down at my screen and talking. And I wasn't trying to ignore the chat. I do apologize. But no, it's I was saying all this because it's important, because this is where we're seeing Ryan Garcia at right now. It's a scary situation. That's why this fight is so needed for Garcia to win. He can still lose. He can get knocked out. He absolutely can get knocked out. Barrios has that type of leverage with that type of length and reach. Though we can say that Ryan Garcia may be able to get to Barrios with his own reach and physicality, it still is a dangerous game to play. It is a dangerous game to play. Let me keep on reading. I think Barrios, we actually got a lot of people that think Barrios is going to be able to win. Hold on a minute. Wait a second. Oh, boy. Lord. Whoa. This is more than I expected of the willingness of winning that people were going to give credit to Barrios for being able to have it in terms of a chance for in this fight. I thought it was going to be more so Garcia, at least for the public eye. Favorite to win was Ryan Garcia. Barrios could do some damage, but most people weren't going to pick him. Y'all picking him. Hey, look, that's great. It shows, okay, y'all do know the skill set that he actually is. And Ryan Garcia, again, he better be careful. Especially he can't have any lapses like he's been having over the course of the other fights he's had. Let me see. Pretty Grimmer, what's going on with it? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Wardley versus Dubois. My prediction. Well, I have on initial reaction of this fight being announced. I have Wardley knocking out Daniel Dubois. I got Wardley knocking out Daniel Dubois. Now, that is if. That's if. That's if. It's a big if. Because the type of fighter that Wardley's fighting against in Dubois is not going to be the same slick, elusive stuff with the great head movement like we saw with Joseph Parker, like we saw with Justice Hooney. It's not going to be that. It ain't going to be that. But it will be somebody who, if it does come down to a straight-up bull-on-bull fight, Daniel Dubois, one, has shown that second win like he did against Joseph Parker, or like he did against Jarrell Miller. He's shown legitimate power that, unlike with the other opponents that we've seen Justice Fabio Wardley face off against, if there was anybody that could put you out and test your chin to the edge of no return, it's Daniel Dubois. And as much as we know that Daniel Dubois can get knocked out potentially early because of his chin is invulnerable. But again, if Usyk can knock you out, absolutely Wardley can. It's going to be a question of essentially, can you land first with enough force that you don't have to worry about some second wind coming from Wardley? Could you get it done? Because Wardley will be there. He'll try to be defensive. He will. He'll try to be defensive. He will be leaning back like he does. He'll be making some of the unorthodox defensive moves, trying to get out the way like he did against Joseph Parker. But like every single fight, that is eventually going to fall by the wayside. He's going to simply start going and banging like he knows how to do. That's his game. He's there. He's said himself, I'm not a technical fighter. I go to war, straight up. Again, he's a UK Deontay Wilder at this point. I'm not trying to be technical. I'm trying to swing away because I know I'm going to land something. I'll try to do the right stuff with the boxing and the jabbing and the movement and the head movement. I'll try that. But once round 5 comes around, all right, we out of that. Especially if it don't work or we done with that. That's what we can see. And as much as that, when he switches into, okay, we're going to war straight up, now he's the most vulnerable as well as he's the most dangerous. Dubois got the best chance to put that danger out with one fell swoop. We know he does. We know he does. But in all honesty, if it comes down to just straight up chin and land the best thing, as in take the punch and then give it back before you can't take it no more, I might have to say Wardley might be able to take that. I might have, as much as we know Daniel Dubois is a more proven fighter, going up against, again, Anthony Joshua, Jarrell Miller, Hrgovic, Joe Joyce. He's been through the ringer first in most of his career. Usyk twice. Experience is always on level. It's all the way in his favor. But it is the translative other stuff. Oh boy. It's got me a little bit concerned. Got me a little bit concerned that intangible nature of find a way. Though we've seen Dubois be able to do it, it might be more fervently in the regime for Wardley if it comes down to get it done. Digging deep. At this point, it's been shown he's the best in the game at doing that. So I dare say we might see Fabio Wardley get the knockout. I dare say we might just see him. We might just see him. And boy, my goodness, man. That would be insane. Let me see. Dubois maybe KO. He could. Like it's gonna take one hit a quitter, or unlike what we've seen with other people, like with Justice Honey, even like with Joseph Parker, if you get Wardley hurt, you cannot let him recover. Every single time Wardley's been hurt, he's been able to recover. Every single time. You have to put him down the second you rock him and keep him down. Even though, and it's going to take you going into the lion's den. It's going to take you going through and you're risking yourself in the worst way possible by going when Wardley's rocked, by trying to fight when Wardley's hurt. But at this point in time, you trying to be, you can't lose that aggression against Wardley when you know he's vulnerable. At least up until the later rounds. And by that I mean, if you bag 9 and he ain't bagged 1 round, like we saw with Justice Honey, but you might be better off just to go and say, yeah, I'm backing up. I did what I need to do. You got to find me now. Maybe. But you can't do that without going through that fire first for the first 9 rounds if it takes that long. To bag as many rounds as possible. And if you ain't going to do that, straight up, then keep on him. But you just cannot let him recover in any way if he gets rocked, hurt, or tired. Because if you do, and he gets enough just for one, he gets enough gumption just for 1 shot. That's all he needs. That's it. That is all he needs, man. It's a, who boy, my word. It's a monstrous level of just sheer power. A monstrous level of the sheer power. That just, man. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what we're dealing with. It doesn't make sense. But it's exactly what we're dealing with when it comes to, wow, everything about him is straight up. Not wild. When it comes to Fabi Ward, see, I'm getting confused because the fact that they do almost the same thing. Finding a way. Teddy Atlas said it best. You can't teach that. You can't. You can try to hone it, but some people you just gotta have it. Water is one time he just got it. He just got it, man. Oh boy, it's insane. Oh boy, it's insane to see. Absolutely. But we still got more to cover in the world of boxing. It's still, if you did not know, it's still the championship rounds in our show. You all still drive the whole of the conversation for the entirety of the day when it comes to the world of boxing. And beyond. I saw something as well, as you're still getting your questions and thoughts together. I saw something with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia that just crossed my screen. I'm trying to see exactly what that is right now. Reportedly, something's going on where he is not, what's the word? He ain't fighting Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, excuse me, shot down, fighting Ryan Garcia. Let me see if I can get this, right before I just start breaking news and start saying stuff belligerently. Hold on a minute. Let me pull up this I believe it's a tweet. It should be a tweet, right? Was it a tweet? Where's that right? Let me see. Talking about Africa. Talking about Sandra Zayas. Where in the world? Here it is. All right. So essentially, in the words of Devin Haney, we talked about how potentially that fight with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney could potentially happen after Barrios, but now it seems like Devin Haney's shooting that down, per some new information from his own words, or his own fingers, on Twitter. Yes, indeed, as we switch it over to the world of picture-in-picture, let you see exactly what's going on and what's going down in the news cycle of the sports regime. And right here you can see, as we switch it over real quick, there we go. As we switch it over, Devin Haney, since he said on social media, responding to another boxing commentator and Two-Tone, the superstar, another brother who goes on social media talking about the world of boxing, and hey, credit to him, does some phenomenal things. We've even used some of his stuff, some of his clips on our show as some breaking news that he was able to break. So hey, good for him. Glad to see he's still doing well. And he essentially saying, if Ryan wins and looks sharp, does that put him back in the mix for you in terms of referencing Devin Haney, or you focus strictly on new challenges at 147. And now Devin Haney says that ship has sailed when he dropped out of VADA testing, referencing when Ryan Garcia dropped out of VADA testing because he didn't trust VADA testing, and now a potential rematch with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia looks to be potentially no more. Now, some people may look at this and say, if you are Devin Haney and your biggest rival in Ryan Garcia looks good, comes out clean, and fights at 147 and gets a belt, and you saying if everything is, even if everything is right, you're not going to get in the ring and right the wrong that happened against you versus this man. Some people may call that as a ducking situation. Wait a minute. Oh my. Some people had the propensity to call that a duck, and I would love to hear from you all. Does that sound right or wrong in your eyes that this is a potential situation where Devin Haney may be ducking this Ryan Garcia at 147? Maybe. If, again, everything is correct with how Ryan Garcia goes about this whole situation, we have to be more honest about this. We're looking, the litmus test for Ryan Garcia since his first fight back has been, well, without posturing, what can you do? What can you be? How can you fight? How can you still accommodate to greatness? How can you still become who we say you can be when you're off the substances? Which, again, whether they're his fault or not, he was on them. Held against them. Got sued for it, got banned for it, all that stuff. We just covered it. His fight against Rolly Romero, losing to Rolly Romero, brought up a litany of questions and ire against Ryan Garcia, even with the injury that was incurred. All of a sudden, we heard people saying, yeah, see, I told you he was a cheat. I told you he was a flake. I told you he wasn't nothing but nothing. Good for nothing is what he was. Because the brother went and look at what happened when he wasn't on the substance, when he wasn't on the PEDs, when he wasn't on the whole cycle. Brother lost. Can you believe it? The brother lost. How can you support this man? Because now you see him for what he really is, a fraud. That's what a lot of the conversation was. Now here, there's a chance to right the wrongs. But at the same way, he's got to look good doing it. He's got to look not just like the Ryan Garcia that we've seen in the past. This is why the importance of this training with Dave Benavidez is for him. Or this is why the importance of that training with Dave Benavidez is so important. This is why that gym video, those pictures, the work ethic that looks to be done inside the Benavidez camp with Garcia involved is something that is necessary, truly, because we cannot just see a Ryan Garcia that is looking ho-hum or the same. We can't, because this right here, this tweet saying this ship has sailed even if he wins per Devin Haney is what he's got to fight out of. He's got to give the public a reason to talk Devin Haney out of this. I don't need to fight you because we ain't messing with you no more. If this is indeed what he's going with. If this is indeed the stance he's taking. We have to. And the only way we can do that is if we do see Ryan come in clean and look like a different fighter, a better version of the dominance and power and, forget precision, destructive nature, boxing ability, offensive skill set, and all-around discipline. We don't see that shift and change, especially if it looks at another mundane performance, even in a win. Just a win is not just good enough for this type of situation. Yes, it gets him a championship. Yes, it is what he needs to have that crowning moment. Fine, and that is true. We even covered that a couple of minutes ago. He needs that. But for the even bigger picture, he's got to look good. He has to look good. We cannot have a Ryan Garcia that is looking the same. Because if he does, based on what we're seeing Devin Haney say, this ship is just going to pass him by. And he might not get that rematch. Without making a splash. Without making a public appeal. Not even an appeal. A public display of a greatness untold when it comes to him. That forces everybody to say, okay, yeah, this version of Ryan Garcia now, Devin Haney, you can't just be here at 147 without going through him. You can't say that ship has sailed without going through him, because now you have a competitor, a championship competitor that not just has one of the four things that you want, which is a belt, but also just showed against somebody else who was a consistent threat and champion of this division. There's levels to this in a way that I am belonging above what you all had me as. I'm back in your vicinity as a threat level and talent in my own right. And you can't just overlook me because of, again, past circumstances. Because it's a new day, new game, a new me, and a new threat. It's got to be like that. If it ain't like that, yeah. Most likely this fight with Devin Haney is going to be a potential lost cause. Most likely this fight with Devin Haney that we're all looking forward to. Not looking past this fight with Barrios, but we're looking forward to what the ramifications of this win could be. It's going to go by the wayside if he's not where he needs to be from a display perspective to put the eyes of the public on him. It's the same that we saw with Shakur Stevenson. When Shakur fought William Zepeda, it was a needed display of dominance in a way that not just we had never seen before, but that shut up noise surrounding the identity of Shakur, which helped to then make that fight with Tio even more tantalizing, selling out as much as they did. What was it, over 750,000 to about 1 million pay-per-view eyes, just about. Big time star in New York City. But it showed up and showed out. They did. Man's a star. He really is a star. But he got to that performance via what he did against William Zepeda. That forced the spotlight to be on him. It forced the spotlight on him. It forced an undeniable shine. That when he called somebody out, when he wanted to make a plan go, it wasn't just a, we don't need you, or you're not worth my time, or you ain't really that good, so I don't need to waste my time with you. No. Everything that he needed to get answered what was answered in a fashion that made him a roadblock, not just a obstacle, a roadblock that you could not get past. That's what we need to see Ryan Garcia turn into in this fight with Barrios. We have to. Because if we don't, and there's any trepidation, any concern, any type of, oh my, it's going to ruin that chance of the fight that we all want to see ultimately. A grudge match, a rematch. No matter what side of the fence you may be on, with who you think's going to be who deserves who, all that stuff. Fact of the matter is, it ain't going to happen unless we see the impact of that win be felt by the masses as a undeniable situation. We can't let this pass anymore. We got to see this thing through. And you can't avoid this type of smoke due to the fact that, yeah, this is a different guy. That's what's got to happen. At least in my opinion, that's what's got to happen. And if it does, great. I can't wait to see it. And will be so excited if we do get that fight. Oh boy. Talk about entertainment. More than entertainment. Just talk about straight up drama. drama afoot in every regard. In every regard. Would be insane to see, at least in my humble estimation. Absolutely no question about it. We still got more stuff to cover in the world of boxing. We still want to hear your voice and opinions and your thoughts on everything involving the world of sports. Don't forget, it's still the championship rounds. You all drive the conversation. You all control the narrative of this show. You all are the ones that come through and make this show oh so great. Please, if you would, go on and leave a like on the stream. Keep on commenting your thoughts and opinions on everything that we talk about on today. Also, I'm just trying to make sure I type this thing up. I got to make sure I put out this bulletin for the public to see that we are indeed live. Hold on 1 minute. I thought I'd actually put it up here before, but it wasn't. I didn't actually send through. Lord. See, I'm getting so excited because of this fight. I am missing track of time. But we got it right here. But we still want to hear from you on anything involving the world of sports and beyond. Please keep on sharing the show. And if you want to give to the show, hey, we got Cash App and PayPal. Links down below, as well as Super Chats and Super Gifts, all that stuff. If you can support it, would mean the world to me. Help us to get this show out to the masses, to have the public see the hottest show in all of the globe with the best fan bases in the world right here in our community, the Welch Report with your host, B. Jean-Luc Welch. We appreciate all of your support. We appreciate all of you spending time with us. Hey, we just appreciate you tuning in, having fun, enjoying life, hopefully having a great Friday afternoon, and we still are going to make this the best thing possible. No question about it. But let me pull up this other bit of news I was trying to say when it came to the world of boxing, as well as that, because we know what y'all are here for. There is some rumblings involving the world of Shakur Stevenson against one Gary Antoine Russell, which we are, in all honesty, there's been some calling out and back and forth between the two, of which some people are saying that Shakur wouldn't want to face off against Gary Antoine Russell. And I'll let him tell you for himself. And he did an interview with the likes of who was it? Yeah, inside trying to get the pockets inside the ring. We was talking about a potential fight with talking about a potential fight with Shakur Stevenson at 140, as Antoine Russell is one of the 4 belt holders in the division. But his words of what he thinks will go down with that fight are as follow. I don't think he would want to fight me, but I'll let him say it for yourself as you can listen to his own rhetoric. Trying to make sure it'll play. Okay, there we go.
Legends you had Teofimo Lopez, but now you got Shakur Stevenson. He took that belt.
Okay. I like. By the way, these actions guys.
Shakur Stevenson will fight me.
These guys.
After Richard.
And again, it's a short clip, but it's a substantial clip because it comes off the back of a longer interview they were having in regards to the reaction to Shakur and Tio, that whole fight. And now Gary Russell at 140 talking about how he, as a champion, you got Tio, and now you got me as another threat, but you ain't gonna come in the ring with me. Is this tactics, or is this more so a real concern that Shakur just will actually not go after all these other competitors at 140? And I would like to hear from you. Now, I think personally that it's not going to be a problem, but that's just me. But I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on it all, as we are still in the championship rounds. Let me change the time. There we go. Change the time real quick so you all can see it. We're still talking about Ryan Garcia. We're talking about the whole of the boxing world and everything involving the world of sports as it stands right now, with a whole bunch of stuff. As it's the championship rounds, we want to hear from you. Also, Timmy T, what's going on with you? Thank you. Hey, welcome back. Welcome home. I'm so glad that you're here with us on today. We appreciate your time, your energy, your effort, and all of your fervor as you're joining in on the show. Also, Daryl Washington as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the channel. No question about it. Let me see what you got to say on today. Do you agree with Shakur being number 3 pound for pound? They didn't make a list on the ring, inside the ring. I have Shakur. I don't agree with him at 3. I agree that he's at 4th. I have Shakur on my pound for pound as the 4th best fighter in the world. It is, in a way, Usyk, Ben Rodriguez, and then Shakur with this win over Teofimo Lopez, which was an incredible win. I gave all the context as to why he would elevate that high. If he didn't win, he fit that context. So he deserves to be the fourth best fighter in the world in my estimation. He can be on pace real quick to be the best in the world. He's got that type of potential. Absolutely, especially for that next generation. So I don't doubt he'll get even closer to that top two very soon in the future. But as of right now, he's fourth in the world. I don't think he's third because, again, Ben Rodriguez, with the stuff he's done, incredible. In a way, you don't have to say anything. Usyk, you don't even have to say anything. He isn't them. But as a talent coupled with what he's already done right now, four division, unified right now, lineal as well, with the names that he's beaten, specifically with Teofimo Lopez being that kind of crowning moment of, okay, this cat's at a different level than we ever thought. Yeah, I feel he deserves to be fourth in the world, at least in my estimation. But I would love to hear where you have him in your top 10. But let me also see Darrell Washington. That would be a great fight. Gary Antoine Russell versus Shakur Stevenson. It would be a phenomenal fight. I do believe. Absolutely. I believe that. Now, the question does become, will both of them, and when I say both, will Shakur Stevenson go with the framework of Keyshawn Davis and move up to 140? Leave this division behind and go and fight at the higher weight class and not go through the ringer of 147. Currently, he's the best 140 pounder in the world. There's no question. I have no issue, no problem there. He deserves that title. He could reign, rule, and become undisputed. Attempt to go down that route. There's a bunch of names. Dalton Smith, who just KO'd Sabril Matias. That's a great threat to have against him. Gary Antoine Russell, I believe, was he 19-0? 17 KOs, I think, on his resume. Something along those lines. One of the hardest hitters and fastest hands that we have in the world of 140 today. You still have a smorgasbord of names, especially with Lamont Roach. Hey, Isak Cruz. You got names that, hey, you can even bolster your resume strictly by proxy. You beat the people that drew with Tank Davis, stealing more of that shine away from him and putting that to your now definitive stardom that everybody has to recognize. You got that in the bag if you wanted it to. But all comes down to what you're trying to do. And so that's really the question. What does he want to do? And I'd love to see what you think is going to happen. Because if he did fight Gary Russell after Teo, boy, you want to talk about that's a gutsy move. That's a gutsy move. And I like it. I would love to see it. But depends on where he wants to go from here. Let me see. I have Usyk, Inoue, Bivol, Bam, Shakur as my top five. Let me see. Usyk, Inoue, Bivol, Bam, and Shakur. Okay, no problem. Like I said, it's not a bad list at all. Having these at the top five boxers of your pound for pound, no problem there. I get it. He deserves it. Now, Bivol is my only concern. Strictly for the, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, Tay, wait a second, Tay, you coming in hot, brother, what you mean, wait a second, hold on, wait a minute, hold everything, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Oh, wait a second. Is this true? Is this real? Is this actually going to, is the fight we've been waiting on, the fight we've been banking on, is Boots versus Virgil actually going down? And it's like, I'm checking everything. I'm doing everything I can. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm checking the Ring Magazine. I'm checking Mike Coppinger. I'm checking every other outlet in boxing I can think of. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Is this? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on a minute. Everybody pump the brake. Hold on. I believe this is per his own website. Wait a second. From Hassan, another popular boxing mind up here. Apparently it's from an article from the Ring Magazine. However, the zone's hierarchy made it happen, ensuring the soon-to-be-announced ensuring the soon-to-be-announced showdown between Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Ennis will stand as one of the streaming service's most important moves of 2026. Okay, wait 1 minute. Oh my gosh, I think it happened. Oh my goodness. I think it happened. I can't believe it. I didn't think I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day. Apparently, brother, it's actually going. I don't believe this. It's happening. Where's my screen? Where's my face? Hold on a minute. It's happening. It is actually happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think this is a fluke. I think we just got confirmation that Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz is officially going down, signed, sealed, and delivered, and is soon to be announced within the coming days to potentially by next week. It is happening. Two of the biggest punchers, nay, threats at 140 as a whole, with one of the biggest rising stars in Boots Ennis going up against one of the laden, consistent, dominant, powerful entities at 154 in Virgil Ortiz. Finally, after months and months of speculation, ladies and gentlemen, I think that fight is officially signed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm shocked. Thank you for telling me. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm so happy. I appreciate you coming on live. I didn't even get to say hi. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in, Tay. We appreciate you joining in on the show. But my gosh, yeah, this broke. Yeah, it's real. It's real. And I believe that article that I read was from it was either the Zone's website or it was from the Ring magazine and some article that they had online. Either way, I read that whole statement verbatim. I believe I showed it to you on screen as well. It's real. Boots versus Virgil Ortiz is actually happening. It is a done deal. Apparently, it's been signed and we're done. We even reported on this earlier. It could be signed within the week that we're going to get that fight. We talked about that, I think, on Tuesday. And now it's here. It's here. It's actually, well, now we might as well just change the rest of the show. Tell you, you got Boots by KO. Who's going to win? Come on. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a talk. Let's talk about it. We're here now. There's no more speculation. Who's winning? Who y'all got now? Now that this fight looks to be legit on paper, we don't got to worry about who's ducking who's avoiding who, even in the midst of litigation and legalese when it comes to Virgil Ortiz suing Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. But we don't care about that no more. All we care about is that the fight's happening. Who's going to win? And if you got Boots by KO, hey, I completely understand. And I dare say, I may feel the same way. I may feel the same way about Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. I just might. That's not a me trying just to go off the deep end. That ain't me trying to just go through and jumping over the shark. But this, look, unexpected violent outcome from a unexpected violent announcement. Seems like it's apropos. But we gotta keep it unbiased. I do have early on in this fight, I have Boots winning. Early prediction. I got Boots winning this fight. I do. I really do. And it's put up or shut up time. We have been waiting on the day that we get to see the full-fledged nature of who Boots Ennis is as a fighter. We've been waiting on the day that everything that we've had about the speed, the pop, the absolute dogged ability, the uncanny type of physicality that he can bring from the standpoint of an athletic figure in this sport. He is something that is unique above everybody else. That is the truth. He now has to put all of that together And the way we've been waiting, we've been waiting on him to do it for a long time, and now it's here. It's here. I can't believe it, and I think we're gonna see it. I do think we're gonna see it in this fight. But let me see what you all got to say. Tay, after 160, Yo Hernandez said Boots was punching harder than Canelo. I don't think Virgil can withstand his power. Hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Yo Hernandez was saying that Boots was punching harder than Canelo. The same Canelo that knocked out Kovalev. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The same Canelo that had Callum Smith swelling up on his arms. And I believe also knocked him down to the body. The same Canelo that was able to punch blow for blow with Gennady Golovkin and then subsequently go up to 175 and compete, win a championship. Come back down to 168. Not come back down. Before coming down to 160, or before going up to 175, broke Billy Joe Saunders over the bone with an uppercut, bloodied up John Ryder, carried Jaime Munguia when he could have knocked him out in multiple situations, made Jermell Charlo scared to punch for the entirety of 12 rounds. He punched harder than that. If that's the case, and Hernandez got a pretty good chin on him. My gosh. Shoot. Lord. That, my goodness. Now, I knew his power, again, translated up. But if already, again, mind you, at a 154 pounder, punching above the level of a 160, that is something serious. That's some level of legitimate dynamite that would combine. Again, it's not just it's the combination of the speed with the power that makes this so scary. That's what's scary. Boots in his ability to crack, which is something some punches aren't made, they're born. He's got this latent inside him. Again, mind you, still able to improve as he moves up in weight, because I do think the bigger he gets, the stronger he will be. But he's already throwing like this. And he's got speed that is some of the fastest in not just 154, but also some of them would be considered one of the fastest at 147. Would also be considered one of the fastest at 140. Legitimately is a unique figure with, again, Boozy Ennis coaching it as his dad and as a legitimate great boxing mind. Don't let the fight with Andy Cruz versus Ray Murtala fool you. But Andy Cruz fought a great fight. He did. That was not a bad game plan that Boozy Ennis made for Andy Cruz going up against Murtala. It did. If anything, if we see Andy Cruz have more pop, we could see that fight go a completely different way. But that was not a bad game plan at all. Boozy Ennis knows what he's doing. He knows what he's cultivating, what he's creating, what he is molding with the likes of Boots Ennis. And I'm telling you this right now, that going up against Virgil Ortiz, whoo, that's a dangerous thing. Whoo, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Oh, that's so dangerous. That's so dangerous. And you're right. I don't know if Virgil Ortiz can withstand that type of speed backed by that type of power. Speed by itself is a killer, absolutely. But when you got speed with a legit force behind it, the threat level is different, and your reaction has to be, the respect that you have to garner for the opponent goes up immensely. It goes up immensely. I compare this again to a, well, actually, before I talk, let me actually change this title card real quick, because at this point in time, this is the story that we need to have as its own topic. I'm about to make, we changing this whole, we changing up this whole thing. I don't care. Hey, look, it's my show, doggone it. We changing up this whole thing. Because this is the topic. Everybody at this one time, they want to discuss this. They gonna want to discuss this. We gonna want to discuss it. Again, if you didn't know, if you're just tuning in, hello and welcome. I'm your host, John Luke Welch. This is the Welch Report. We're gonna talk about boxing and beyond. And if you did not know, Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz per multiple sources attached to the Ring magazine, has officially been signed and is going to be announced later on in the month. And it's a done deal that we're going to get the two biggest stars at 154 and potentially have the crowning moment of Boots Ennis finally happen at super welterweight in a clash of absolutely epic proportions. We're so happy. We're so excited. And we're talking about the fight right now. And we're reacting to this whole breaking news and talking about the fight as a whole as to who's going to win and what can happen. But when we talk about the speed, I use Roy Jones Jr., I use Mike Tyson for these comparisons because what people got blinded by was the speed of, or rather was the power of a Mike Tyson, was the power of a Roy Jones Jr. But what made them so much more of a killer than everybody else around him? It was the speed that made it so that it wasn't just, oh, this guy can hit. He can hit before I can react. He can hit me where I don't see him, and I won't be able to move or even adjust if I know something's coming. There's a difference in that type of combination. That's what made both of them so lethal. That's what helps to make Boots such a dynamic type of force. It's not just that he's got power or speed. He's got both in a frame that can also get shots off at any type of diverse angle without having the same structure that you would need for the fundamentals to make everything work like they're supposed to work. He can break the rules while still being faster than you and stronger than you. He can break the rules in a way that you can't. That's what it feels like for a lot of people. That's what makes this Boots so damaging. It doesn't mean that he still can't get beat. He can. But that level of combination is what makes him so lethal. Absolutely. Let me see. Legendary Super Saiyan. Yo, what's going on with that? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. And again, you tuned in just right on time. We just got word that Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz is official. It's not a fluke. It's not a facade. It's not fake. It's going down. It's been signed. It is officially done. Per all of social media and per sources close to the Ring magazine, that fight looks to be officially in the books, and it is signed, sealed, and it is ready to be delivered to the public for us to witness and enjoy as a confrontation of epic proportions. And it's something that, in all honesty, I can't wait to see. Absolutely. But again, we're going to see how it goes. And we're gonna see what transpires. And we talking about the whole we talking about it all in all honesty. Right here, right now, because it's such a big thing that is it's too big. Be honest, it's too big to ignore. It's too big to ignore at this point in time. It's way too big to ignore. But let me see what you all got to say even still. But again, salute to you and thank you for tuning in on the show. Let me see. Tay, what you got to say? I wonder which stance he's doing to fight Virgil Ortiz. I would assume. Now, I can't remember. Is he a southpaw naturally or is he orthodox naturally? I can't remember what stance Boots Ennis normally fights in. Is he an orthodox boxer or is he a... What's his stance? Okay, now, okay, so he does normally fight in orthodox. He can fight in southpaw. For this fight, I would assume he's fighting straight up orthodox. Because at this point, again, you have to understand, Terrence Crawford, in the biggest fights that he's had in his career, he didn't switch up. Though he's one of the greatest switch hitters that we've ever seen in the sport, he didn't switch up when the moment came by. He didn't switch up when he went up against Terrence Crawford. If he did, it was for a split second, and he switched back. But he kept it at southpaw. Straight up, he kept it at southpaw. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry, or orthodox. He kept it one stance, which was the best stance for him to go and be dominant. Because there was a statement that needed to be made. Boots, he's going to keep it most likely orthodox. Most likely he's going to keep it orthodox. Unless he sees that, okay, this fight's going to be, I can be that dominant guy. Going southpaw and make it life even harder for Virgil Ortiz. He's most likely going to stay orthodox and going to go through and not even attempt to, go through and use that speed, not just dart in and out, but to damage and frustrate and ultimately set up a potential KO situation for Virgil Ortiz. There's a lot at risk. This does not mean this is not me saying that he can't or shouldn't switch. This is me saying that normally in these big situations, most boxers stick with their best stance for the entirety of the fight. Because switching while they can do it may open up something they just don't want to risk at this point in time against this type of real threat. So that's what's going down. But I think he's going to stay in orthodox. If he does go southpaw, great. And all of a sudden, if he shows that he's better in southpaw than anything else, that makes us even more scared. But we're going to see. Let me see. So Virgil Ennis next. Yep, absolutely. Legendary Virgil Ennis is next. It's happening. It is going down officially. It's going down officially. We don't have to have any more speculation. No more debate. Apparently, that fight is done. Apparently, again, allegedly, going by what we just got broke with every other outlet I could find. So, if I'm wrong, don't blame me. I'm just being the messenger to everything that was just divulged to the public. All of a sudden, it's the biggest thing since sliced bread. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. Winner of this fight, number one at 154. Now, see, this is where this is where the conversation gets interesting. Even more so than just the winner, who's going to win, who you may have favored. Does this answer the question of who's outright the best at 154? In the same way that we were saying that when Brian Norman got beat by Devin Haney was undisputedly, though he wasn't undisputed, he was seen widely, yeah, that's the best welterweight in the world, without question. You would think that would be the same type of answer for this fight, but it might not be entirely sure. Mind you, the same thing that we had with Stanionis. Though, before Stanionis, I was saying that we could see Boots as the king of 147 at that point in time, that there wasn't anybody better. But you all, again, throwing your words back at you all in the chat, in the community, were saying that we can't have Virgil or Boots should not be seen as such up until he beats Stanionis, who's one of the more dangerous champions at 147 at that point in time. Until he does that, you can't crown him that type of claim because he doesn't have the belts. That was the argument. Or he doesn't have the majority. This fight is not for a belt. This fight is not for anything except for an interim title. Mind you, we don't like interim champions. Particularly because we were saying that there's too many champions to keep up with in the world of boxing. And so this fight is straight up, and we're going to boil it down, this fight is straight up two of the best talents in the division, but it's not for the accolades that we said are needed to put you as you're the best in this division outright. Is that fair or is that not? In my opinion, again, as we've gone on this show, we've grown, we have adopted and adapted to the new landscape of boxing. We've talked, we've debated, we've done all this stuff. I would say that the best at 154 would be the winner of this fight. But that's not the king of the division. Does that make sense? The belts do still mean something. As much as we have had a bunch of debate about it, which rightfully so, they still do have weight. As they should. Winner of this should be seen as the best fighter at this division, but they're not the king. Winner of this, though, should get a shot at Fundora or Zayas. Straight on. Straight on. Because you beat who was seen as the best talent. And now you have the accolades, or rather you have the belt to ensure this entire division goes through me. Because other people still got titles. All you need is one to unlock that door to the other side of this kingdom, to where now you sit on a throne that everybody has to recognize. That's all that's missing, which is going to happen. Whoever wins this, they're beating Zayas. No disrespect, they're beating Zayas. Whoever wins this most likely is beating Fundora. Whoever wins this most likely would beat Josh Kelly. They're not going to have the same struggles that Bakram did. As much as Josh Kelly showed, okay, he's a better talent than I expected. They're not having that have a problem. So I would say that whoever wins this fight is the best fighter here, but they're not ruling the division. But they then have an easy shot to have both monikers of king of the division and best fighter at welterweight. They can apply to them immediately. Or at least one of those two can happen. Which is the best fighter in this division. That's what it should be. You have to make a distinction because there is a difference. Virgil Ortiz was seen as the best talent at this division, but we weren't saying that he was the king of this division. As much as we were saying that he should be seen as the best. He didn't have, where's the title? Where's the throne that you're supposed to have to back up this claim? Though we see it's there. An uncrowned king to some degree, that's what we're calling. That's what uncrowned king. But he is the best out of everybody. That's what's going to be. At least for me, the winner of this fight. Absolutely. Great news to wake up to. Hopefully, don't get, I don't care about nothing, no other fight they had lined up, if not with each other. I mean, I didn't either. I completely understand. Because Xander Zayas was thrown around. Winner Fundora was thrown around. Shoot, a boss at one point in time was thrown around. With either of these guys, we were, the division itself is indeed still very ripe with a bunch of talent. Absolutely. But we wanted to see these two fight because, one, they were two people the only feasible people that had the best chance to beat each other were each other. And two, they both called each other out. So we were saying, what is the holdup now? You stepped in the ring with this. You said yes to each other. Where is the movement of this division that we've been asking for, that we've been praying for, that we've been waiting on? Where is it? And up until this point, we thought we were never going to get it. And now we can get it. I'm excited. I'm so excited for it. What about Jamel Charlo versus the winner if he can move back down? Yeah. Oh, Jamel Charlo. Not Jamal. Yeah, okay, yeah, Jamel. Jamel Charlo can move back down. Be clear. We covered him calling out people. We covered Jamel Charlo calling out Boots, Virgil Ortiz. I think he even called out Errol Spence. Called everybody out. He ain't made a move yet. Again, I can't take Jamel Charlo seriously because of the fact that everything about him has been nothing. I can't take him seriously if everything about him is just not happening. Everything about Jamel Charlo is simply rumor. Everything about Jamel Charlo is simply rumor. From the speculation or from the perch of this cat is a fun name. And he is a fun name. He is a fun name. But where's the substance behind that name? Where is it? The proof of recent, where is it? Why should he deserve a shot at Charlo versus or Ortiz? Or excuse me, why should Charlo have a shot at Virgil or Boots? Why? Give me a good reason why. We still got to have some. Again, as much as we can say we want to see matchups, there's also got to be a level of hierarchy. It isn't fair. Just like we were saying, it wasn't fair that Wilder was about to get a shot at a championship, skipping the line after he had lost 3 fights, had lost 4 of his last 5. And Hearn Dawn, sure enough, shouldn't have put him in a position to get a championship opportunity immediately, especially after the other 3 losses in the way that he lost outside of the Fury fight, which again was a phenomenal fight. The other 2, Not good. We're saying we can't, what I'm not going to do is some for thee, not for me type of situation. Or some for me, not for thee type of situation. Charles does not deserve a shot at any of them right now. Because what has he done outside of just talk? What has he done? Even Errol Spence Jr. is working his way down or working his way back up by fighting somebody that we were saying that makes sense to fight. Tim Tszyu, Errol Spence, two people that are older, that have had very detrimental losses, that are trying to recover in their career, in a fight that if they did win, okay, it will put you back in conversations of potential championship road destinations. But if you don't beat each other, then you should not be seen as you can fight the Fundoras. You shouldn't be put on that pedestal. That's what we were saying. That made sense. And it was a hyped up deal. We're getting it. Thankfully, we're getting that fight. And we love that we're getting that fight. But the same thing got to apply for this. Jermell Charlo has not given me anything of substance to buy into. You should have a shot against Boots. He would die against Boots. Do you want his career to end? I'll be honest. Do you want his career to end? Do you want him to be humiliated without having any source of recourse? As a first fight back, you fight the winner of Boots Ennis or Virgil Ortiz? Do you want his career to be over? Do you want him to get to it? We've already talked about the emotional stupor. And I say that with respect because we understand mental health is a serious thing. We've understood the emotional and psychological struggles that both Charlos have experienced over their careers in defeat and beyond. We understand it. Do you really want to put that as the first instance of a fight coming back after an already demoralizing, reputationally damaging hit that he took after that fight with Canelo that to this day he is still struggling with because people still bring up that you laid down and willingly died in the same way that William Skull didn't even try to fight. You didn't try to fight. And it was worse because you were supposed to be showing that your undisputed talent was like that. Even with him moving on. And now off the backs of Crawford going and beating the brakes off him and just beating the brakes, it makes you look even worse. Because he at least tried. And look what happened. That could have been you potentially if you had tried. You didn't. Reputation went in the gutter. For 3 years, almost 3 years, he hasn't been touching the sport. Or rather, he's been training but doing nothing. I'm not one to be a psychologist, but I am saying, do you think I would want to risk that as his first fight back? Him versus potentially Virgil Ortiz? When, mind you, wouldn't even be for a title. It would just be them fighting for each other, against each other. Let alone if Boots Ennis wins that fight. Mind you, we just got word. Hernandez was saying that Boots is hitting harder than Canelo. When they were training, the buddies were saying, but it's trained with Canelo. And you want Virgil Ortiz to go against somebody who is light years ahead from a physical standpoint, as well as right now, skill-wise. We can argue they're not even in the same diaspora. Yet, we still have, you want that to be his first fight back, but forget emotional damage, forget the physical damage, the emotional damage of what that loss would do. Well, it would be like, my gosh, buddy, you don't belong in the ring. That's how bad he would beat him. Charlo would get beat by Boots so bad, it would look like he didn't belong in the ring. It would get uncomfortable. It would get uncomfortable. How bad that loss would be. Because of all the things that Boots can do to Charlo. We're not even talking about Virgil Ortiz. strictly boost himself. That would be so detrimental. He might retire on the spot. I don't say that lightly. I do not say that lightly. He don't need to fight. Not him. He need to stay. Talk and John as much as you want. Stay away from Boots. I'd rather you fight Virgil Ortiz than fight Boots in this. I'd rather you fight Virgil Ortiz than fight Boots. Virgil will at least just knock you out. Boots will make you look foolish and then make you question your ability as a fighter. With all the accolades that you've garnered, and then put you to sleep in a way that is so much more demoralizing. You may not recover. With the pride that we know Charlo has. He don't need that. I will stand 10 toes down. He does not need that at all. Now, you want to say, sure, I'm with you. I would like to see the fight. I just know what would happen. Or rather, I am insanely confident in what would happen and the effect that it would have on Charlo. Imagine at his own division. He at least had the excuse that he was moving up to 168, which wasn't really an excuse. It's an incredible feat to attempt to do. But at his own division at 154, he got beat where he was undisputed champion. Post, again, when he retooled guy together and everything was, the world was his oyster. And his first fight back, he got dog walked. I don't know what that would do to him. I don't know what that would do to him. I don't. I wouldn't want to see it for that reason. Because I know, buddy, at least get a fight, get 2, get 3 even. Show me that you can be back consistently, and then we can talk about it. But right now, no. And there wouldn't even be nothing on the line if that was next. It would just be straight up, you're fighting just to fight. And just to prove that you belong, not even for a belt. Knowing how this business of boxing works, boy, you want to talk about a hit. I would love to see it. But you want to talk about a hit, I'm telling you, I know what that hit would be. I know exactly what that hit would be. That hit, oh boy, that would hit like worse than a ton of bricks. That, whoo. Golly. That would be bad. I am fully of the volition. That would be incredibly bad. Also, real quick, if you didn't know, we were talking about Wardley versus Dubois. Well, that fight, as of 41 minutes ago, is officially a done deal, announced, and it's guaranteed to happen, as I show you on the Wardley picture-in-picture right here, right now. Wardley versus Dubois. It is now an official matchup. As we're getting fights announced left, right, and center. We just had Boots and Virgil essentially get confirmed. And now we got Wardley versus Dubois happening straight up on May 9th in Manchester. Potentially at, will it be at Manchester United Stadium? I would assume it'll be at Manchester United Stadium, or at least some big venue, because this is going to be an all-out British power slugging fest. Now, I can't wait to see, no question about it. It's going to be insane to witness and enjoy. But we still got your voice and your opinions to hear and to discuss, because it is still the championship rounds. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You all still drive this conversation and drive this show for the entirety, however long that we go. However, again, we almost at 2 hours into this show. You all still control the whole of what we got to say on today, whether it's movie, sports, television, video games, everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. The NBA, the NFL, I believe we just had some updates in the league, going a little bit to the NBA, that Chris Paul is officially done. And straight up his retirement. He was on a retirement tour, was going through, and had gotten dropped by the Clippers, had gotten picked up by another team, and gotten dropped by them as well, and now was sitting in limbo for over half the season. Now it's the All-Star break, and as of right now, he got waived by Toronto. And after getting waived by Toronto upwards of an hour ago, he ain't getting no farewell tour. He's straight up saying, this is it. I'm done. And the point guard, one of the greatest point guards in history, has now officially graced away from this game. And again, credit to a phenomenal career. 21 seasons of excellence, a multi-time All-Star. I believe he is, top 5 in assists. One of the greatest defensive point guards that we've had in the league is IQ-driven. He has been one of the most impactful guards that this league has ever seen. Carried New Orleans from a dumpster fire into a legitimate contender. Was a top 5 MVP when he was on the New Orleans Hornets when they got moved from Charlotte to New Orleans. Was a dominant fixture of the 2000s. Led the Clippers in Lob City, one of the most entertaining eras of basketball we had ever seen. Orchestrated one of the most dynamic and fun to watch offensive weapons that we've ever seen in DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Caron Butler, Darren Collison at one point in time, who was on that team. Hito Turkoglu, we played with him as well. He had Jamal Crawford. That whole roster, though it never won a championship, which again, without holding against, was able to help define and recalibrate what a offense in the modern day could be, and all orchestrated by one of the most prolific savants of the basketball, of straight up leading a squad all around as a point guard as a whole. And one of the greatest players we've ever seen, period, which was Chris Paul. I tell you, man, testament to him, credit to him. We should have gotten a favor or two like he deserved. But hey, man, the brother deserves all of his flowers, and he is going to grace away from this game as one of the best we've ever seen. And again, power to him. Credit to him. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the love. And like I said, if you haven't seen the news is here right now. He's walking away. He's retired. He is done. And we thank you for a phenomenal career. Yes, indeed. We'll go down as one of the standard bearers of the greatness of this game that we've ever seen in history. It will be a shining light going forward. I can't wait to see what he does behind the scenes after his career. Whether it's in coaching, whether it's in training, whether it's in straight up community, whether it's in making the league better as a whole. I will let see where he's going to go. But either way, one of the greatest careers is now ended. And hey, man, we appreciate it nonetheless. And will be one of the 75 greatest people. One of the 50, let's be honest, one of the 50 greatest players we've ever seen in NBA history. I'm so serious. He was that great. He was that phenomenal. Absolutely. But we still want to hear from you and your thoughts and opinions on everything involving the world of boxing and beyond, whether it's the NBA or otherwise. We've had so many announcements be made. Speaking of announcements, we also got the likes of Usyk. I almost forgot. Usyk, as we almost let off this show with, we're trying to cover everything that we weren't able to cover on Thursday. If you didn't know, Usyk now got a fight that's announced already after his next voluntary bout that was supposed to be Deontay Wilder. Now it's a different opponent, but even still, the WBC has officially ordered Usyk to fight Ange Caballero. My gosh. If he goes and makes his voluntary defense and wins, he's now ordered to fight Caballero next. Straight up. One of the most prolific body punchers and stamina warriors that we got in the heavyweight division. Ange Caballero now will get his chance to face off against the great one. One of the best that we have in the world of boxing right now. Pound for pound, number 2 and number 1 in the world. And the unified heavyweight champion. And unequivocally, the standard bearer for this era in Alexander Usyk. Yes, right, the biggest challenge to date, off of the biggest win that he just had going up against Big Bang Zhang. Now he gets his chance at the big kahuna, the big dog, the big, essentially the big gold ring, the Ukrainian nightmare. That is Alexander Usyk, the Joker. Agent 47, I don't care what you call him. The bullet is surgical. He is sublime, and he is going to be everything that Ange Caballero can handle. Now, I will also say, Caballero also brings another dimension to this fight because of the stamina as well as the body attack. The biggest weakness of Usyk, which has been the downstairs, essentially the flooding the basement when attacking the body. Ange Caballero now is seen as the worst type of puncher for that type of weakness going up against Usyk. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to witness how exactly we're going to see Usyk get around this hurdle going up against one of the more prolific and fervent body snatchers that we got in the heavyweight division today with the stamina that can keep up with Usyk. Ooh, we got a whole bunch of conversation we're going to be able to have with that fight surrounding the potential outcome as the weeks come forward. Again, if he can get past his voluntary title defense, we'll see how it goes from here. Let me see, Bad Buddy, what's going on with you? Buddy, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Thank you all for showing up and showing out on the welterweight. It's the championship round, so you all can have your conversation on everything involving the world of sports. You all drive this show for however long we're going to go for today, and we appreciate all your support, and we want to hear your questions, your comments, your concerns, all of your reactions to anything involving the world of boxing or beyond right here on this channel, and you make this show great, absolutely no question about it. Let me see. I think Virgil will beat Boots in his... Oh, okay. All right. Wait a minute now. Got somebody bucking the grain, going against the grain, saying that Boots will lose to Virgil Ortiz. That's not a bad assumption to have. It's not. Don't feel bad. You ain't got to feel like there is something that is so unique. Because in all actuality, it's a real outcome that can take. It is a real outcome that can take place. Be clear. Also, I'm trying to make sure I got my mic right. I don't know why it feels like my mic is not centered like it needs to be. There we go. Wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Best is gonna get, I guess. But that ain't bad. It's more than just the power of Virgil Ortiz and make him so damaging. But the guard manipulation of Virgil Ortiz, the way he's able to swipe down your glove and land thudding shots, even use that same move to feint out an attack and hit where you're opening. We can see him mentally be taxing on the brain of Boots Ennis. We can. We absolutely can. We can see Virgil Ortiz again with this fight just about being a done deal and officially being announced. At least per what everybody sees with social media. This is a fight that Virgil and Boots can be shown some tricks of the trade that he may not be able to adapt to, or he may get caught with. That can, with Virgil Ortiz, it only takes one mistake. It only takes one. Be clear. It only takes one mistake from Boots to decimate the likes of Virgil, or to get decimated, by Virgil. It only takes one. It don't take much. We're dealing with another monster type of figure. Virgil Ortiz has a lot of sneaky ways to land his power. A lot of sneaky ways to land his authority, to impose his will. It ain't just the fact, he can catch you with the hook and he can knock you out. No, he will move your guard out of the way, and he will physically open up your defense to land a clean shot, even where you don't expect it coming. Like I said, go back and watch the Madrimov fight. Look at how he set Madrimov with the guard manipulation, pawing down that jab to landing stuff, and then pawed down the jab, caused Madrimov to hike it up even tighter and land a short uppercut to the body. He can do that in a multiplicity of ways. How do you think he knocked out Erickson Lubin? He didn't just straight up break through the guard with sheer force. He literally 3 times straight swipe down hook, swipe down hook, swipe down hook. He did that and busted through, especially when Lubin was on the ropes. It's been one of his staples of his entire career. That again, it's an old school trick for a new school era that people ain't been able to stop yet, because it's that much of a problem. Couple that with a stiff jab. Couple that with patience. He's got patience. Virgil's got the patience, just like he showed against Madrimov, to wait you out and not foolishly run himself into a stupor trying to fight against you. He's got that in him. He does. He's not just going to go through and just rock'em sock'em. We hooking, we doubling up downstairs and hooking back upstairs, then throwing up. He's not just gonna do that. He's patient. He's willing to build upon a foundation of offense to set you up for the more damaging stuff down the line. He can think at a level that people don't give him credit for. He can adapt and change. More so, he can change what you do as the fight goes on. Not just himself, he can change you. Not because of damage, not just because of, he's so much of a big threat that you get scared. We're talking about changing your own posture in how this fight needs to go. Faking you out, outthinking you, setting traps, mines all across the ring. He can do that while also stalking and walking. The brother is a ferocious tank of violence that is also can be very surgical. So you better believe, if you think Virgil Ortiz can beat Boots Ennis, it's not because of it's just some hometown fandom, or this is just my favorite fighter, or I just don't like Boots. Not saying those are any of the reasons that you are saying he can beat him. But for those that think that that's the only reason why people would say that can happen, there's a reason why we're saying that Virgil is the best option to beat Boots. It's because it's the truth. There's nobody else at 154 that can give him a lick of standing aggression or standing opposition. Forget aggression, just straight up standing, straight up opposition. It's not a group that can do that in a way or in the way that we would see the likes of Virgil Ortiz do. Not one. They bring their different aspects of potential. They do. Fundor being 6'5", Bochuk being able to be a very destructive puncher. Majimov with this very good feet. Now, right now, he's changed his style to a way that I like a little bit better. He's a little bit more flat-footed now, but he's still elusive. And he's similar to what we see with Arizona Lar to some degree. He ain't bouncing around nearly as much, but the brother, you saw what he was able to do. That's a style I like, if I'm going to be completely honest, but even still. His movement was similar to what we see with Shukajan. Can give Boots a whole bunch of trouble, yes. But as a total package, it's everything in one body. There's only one man that has the tools in complete totality to do something of real note on a surface level that we can see when it comes to fighting Boots Ennis, and that's Virgil Ortiz. It's Virgil Ortiz. This is going to be a coming out moment for both of them, a pressing for both of them. Because it's also for the other side of the spectrum. But in most people, we don't see most people beating, as much as we can say we're waiting on Virgil Ortiz to get a title finally, we're not saying many people are beating Virgil Ortiz at 154. We're not. Before 154, when Boots came along, or before Boots came into 154, were we not still saying that Virgil was the best fighter at this division? He didn't have a belt. He still wasn't champion. We were saying he's better than we were saying he's better than Fundor. We were saying he's better than Keith Thurman. We were saying he's better than Bochuk at this point in time. Better than Adams at this point in time. Better than Majimov at this point in time. Better than, name somebody. Better than Charlo, absolutely. Unquestioned was the moniker of Virgil Ortiz before Boots got in here. As to who's the most destructive, dangerous, and best at this division. May not be king. He's the best. That's what this fight is. That's what we want. That's why we want to see it so bad. Because it's that type of, forget unpredictability. It's that type of clawing and gnawing to answer the question, who truly can stop the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. That's what this kind of is, and we want to see it. To answer the question, okay, whoever takes this step takes multiple steps. The winner of this fight is not just a step in the right direction, it's a step beyond the whole of this division. Similar to what we had with Shakur Stevenson. Whoever wins this, it's not just you're the best in this division, but you're the best at 154 as a talent. You're the best at 160 as a talent, most likely, outside of Janibek. You only got two people that can beat you at 160. And at 168, you become, he can more than compete. He can beat a good chunk of these names. Whoever wins this fight, the ripple effects of the whole of 154, 160, and even 168, they become further. Even 147 takes a hold about this. Because even if anybody at 147 come up here, Devin Haney, you come out to 154, brother, you most likely people going to say you can't beat Boots. Because of what he did, brother, you ain't on that level with what he just showed against Virgil Ortiz. If we see that transpire, or vice versa. With Virgil Ortiz, same thing. Anybody coming up will have to beat what is now perceived as an insurmountable odd, and anybody who they go up to, Boots or Virgil, depending on who wins, is going to be seen as you are the insurmountable odd. That while you're coming up to this division, they got to beat you because you're that good. That's what the ramifications of this fight are going to be. Similar to when Shakur beat Tio at 135, we're saying nobody beats him. At 140, we're saying nobody beats him. At 147, we're saying outside of Devin Haney, nobody really has a shot at beating him. And even against Devin Haney, but I don't think Devin Haney's a better fighter than Shakur. So we can see Shakur beat him. So again, best at 147 potentially. So that's the ramifications of what this ripple effect of perception would be if they won. Doesn't mean that everything's guaranteed. Be clear, it doesn't mean that everything's guaranteed. What it does mean is that the hierarchy for you shifts immensely to affect other divisions. Your reach now spans far and wide, where your reputation puts you in conversations where you're not even in the room, but you belong there. That's what this fight can be. That's what it just happened with Shakur. So it's incredible. Let me see. Devin Haney likely beats Boots. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know. Like I said, that's why this fight is so important against Virgil Ortiz. Because at this point in time, skill-wise, Devin Haney has the potential to give Boots something of real, struggle. Especially with the style and all this stuff, we understand. But the deficiencies of Devin Haney with what happens if he is indeed touched or pressured or felt to be in danger can work against him going up against that the style of Boots. And we talk about Boots struggling against people that are movers. That Sugarjan 1 and 2. The best thing is against flat-footed plotters, understandable. But there's a difference in that and reclusive boxers. Devin Haney can turn into a reclusive boxer. He can recoil immensely. Like I said, the second half of the fight against Brian Noble Jr., first half was incredible. Then in the second half, when Brian Norman actually started touching him with that, what was it? It was like was it a leaping right hand or was it a leaping left jab that he would go and start to lunge in? And he was actually working against Devin Haney. And actually had some success in fighting him. And Devin Haney changed his entire makeup of the controlling nature that he was having to simply survival. Semblances of what we had against Jose Ramirez when he was just trying to keep him at bay. We saw that happen again. Now, though he won the fight, I didn't like that. Because unlike Brian Norman, Boots has the IQ and all the physical gifts to make it so, as well as the speed, to make it so that that type of style that Devin Haney wants to fight won't be applicable because he'll get negated. Actually get negated. You need both. You need IQ and physicality to beat him. You need. We thought Brian Norman would have it, but he didn't. He had to grow. He had to let his dad go because he was holding him back to be able to box like he needed to. He had to. Lomachenko had both. That's why he made that fight with Brian Norman, with Devin Haney so close. That's why arguably he should have won that fight. He had both. Ryan Garcia had more physicality than he had IQ. And though he wasn't the most technically sound boxer, his IQ was in offensive anticipation. It might have been very much finite, but it worked. Similar to why we see Deontay Wilder give Tyson Fury so much trouble in that first and third fight. Because while he wasn't great in a bunch of things, the one thing that he was great in at that point in time, which was the mastery of the jab straight right, he was able to still hone in on. To the point that even somebody like Tyson Fury still was struggling against. Got caught. Got put down twice. The fact he got up is ridiculous. Every single time. And the fact he got up every time, insane. But he got caught. Because the mastery of that one weapon was good enough. So Ryan Garcia was able to do what he did. Hit Osterine or not. That, as much as we could talk about the rudimentary skill, it can be exposed. It can. It absolutely can. We've seen it. But when it's on, like it was against Devin Haney, oh boy, it can be something tough. That is what we can see Boots have. But he has the knowledge and the skill and the physicality. That everything coming together, he's every aspect of Devin Haney's worst nightmare. And he's bigger than him. One thing that really gives Devin Haney a big advantage. He's bigger than you think. He is stronger than you realize. He is built like somebody that should be at 160. And we've been saying that for years, but he ain't Boots in that department. He ain't Boots in that department. We know that. We've said that. We've seen that. That's a different beast. With the knowledge and the skill and the discipline. You need all of that to beat Devin Haney. He actually has the capacity to be that. And if he beats Virgil Ortiz, boy, he puts it together like we think he's going to put it together. Woo! Woo! That'll be insane to see. Let me see, 154 division is Fuego. Yep, look. Buddy, you right. You right, boy. This division. And there's a reason why this fight is so important now. This division is the division that can spark interest for boxing as a whole on a wide scale. Because there are at least 6 50-50 fights that can happen on any given day. On any given day. On any given. Keith Thurman versus Fundora can be a 50-50 fight. It can be. I think Fundora's going to win. It can be a 50-50 fight. Because the unknown of Thurman turning back the clock, all of a sudden, okay, yeah, I'm back to full form now, can be right there. Zayas versus Abbas, that was a closer fight. He had to thug that out. We just saw Bochek lose to Adams. Adams can lose to Majimov. Majimov can lose to he already lost to Virgil Ortiz. Majimov can lose to Keith Thurman, hypothetically. Everybody in this division can lose to everybody else in this division. There is not a champion that is safe right now. There's not a champion that's safe today. Not one. Not one champion is safe today. We're looking at a division that when this domino falls, everything, the amount of heat that's going to come about, it's going to be insane. Oh, let's not forget, Errol Spence Jr. is back. We forgot about that. Errol Spence just announced his return this week, going up against Tim Sue at 154, finally making his debut after 3 years out the ring. When he initially said, I need to move up. Don't forget, he was getting ready to fight Fundora in his first comeback fight. So you got matchups galore that can go and turn anything on its head. Just like that. Just like that. Just at the drop back. Don't forget even the potential stuff coming behind him. Like, let's say hypothetically Ryan Garcia. He's fighting Barrios. Absolutely. But if he doesn't get the fights that he wants at 147, like with Devin Haney, or even like a rematch with Rolly Romero, who's to say he doesn't move up to 154 and fight any of these other names that got, with the movement that this division can have, some big-time cachet. There's money everywhere up here in this division. Though there's also money down at 147, like with Keyshawn Davis, who's going to move up to 147. That's a good fight. Garcia, Keyshawn Davis, that's another good fight. But you have options everywhere. And depending on where the domino falls at 154 with any of these fights, everything can be on the table. There is no matchup that is too outlandish. There's no situation that is too unpredictable in terms of out of the realm of possibility. 154, super welterweight, everybody is viable to lose. And it's insane. It's ridiculous. It is preposterous, man. It's insane. I love it. Let me see. Do you watch bare knuckle or dirty boxing? I don't. All of it hasn't really captivated my interest. Like I said, on this show, we cover the NBA, the NFL, and boxing. Boxing being our number one thing. And then the NBA and NFL being the other two things. I can do all three, as well as some other stuff around the sports landscape. Sometimes we talk about MMA when it becomes applicable. Most of my audience is boxing fans and NBA fans and NFL fans, so we kind of keep it there. But this is, championship rounds. This is why we're here, because we want to talk about anything that you all can discuss. And if I can discuss it, I'll talk about it. If I can't, I'll say, hey, I'm not as well versed and I can't discuss it like I want to. But this is your time to shine, to ask whatever you want to ask and get your thoughts and opinions and debates out there. It's an interactive show. As much as we have agendas, plot points, and all that stuff, we want to hear from you because you all help drive this conversation. That's why we talk about Ryan Garcia. That's why we talk about Devin Haney. That's why we talk about Boots Ennis. That's why we talk about Usyk. That's why we talk about all these across divisions. We talk about it all from the standpoint of a boxing dominated content. It's kind of the vein that we kind of fell into. But we try to do it all on this show and give it, and we're just trying to get an audience. We want people to have fun, enjoy, have yourself a day, and hopefully I'll make your day a little bit brighter, a little bit better, go a little bit more smoothly as you're at your job, as you're at home, maybe cleaning up the house, maybe hanging out with friends. I don't care where you are, as long as you're tuned in right here. That's all that matters, baby. Oh yes, indeed. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's all we try to do. So hopefully, I can talk about everything I can. But if I can't, I'll let you know. Absolutely. But most of the time, no, I don't really pay attention or watch bare knuckle or dirty boxing nearly as often. I'm more of a pugilist, as you can call it. I think that's the right term. Right? Like, I guess I just like the professional ranks more than anything. I fell in love with it, so I talk about it. Yeah, so I do what I do. Also, real quick, speaking of other sports in the world of combat, has there been some? What's this rumbling about? Was it Aljamain Sterling in MMA calling out Terrence Crawford, essentially trying to goad him into a fight, saying that we'll beat you up in the street fight and all that stuff. And Crawford's like, I don't know what you talking big for. We got switches for people like you that be coming up and trying to say you gonna do something to me in the streets. And then we got Sterling, I think it was Sterling, calling him out and saying, let's put some gloves on, let's strap up, and let's get it popping inside the ring, and let's fight. I believe it was Aljamain Sterling. If I'm wrong, please enlighten me. But there's been since this. Buckley, excuse me, I'm sorry. Jaquin Buckley, I do apologize. Yeah, Jaquin Buckley. It wasn't, why was I thinking that? Why was I thinking Sterling? Why was I thinking Aljamain Sterling? You know what it was? I saw the man speaking, and I didn't look at the name, and the next highlight, or rather the next thing I scrolled down on Twitter was something involving Sterling highlight. And so I just assumed it was all of the same thread. That's my fault. My apologies. But it was Buckley. Buckley, if I'm being completely honest, shameless. Not me trying to hate. This ain't me trying to hate. But we've seen this cycle before, have we not? Thank you. See, you beat me to it. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. You beat me to it. We've seen this. He's chasing the bag. Okay, he's chasing the bag. Call it what he did. He's chasing the bag. He just wants the smoke to get a bag. Yeah, we know, we've gone through this story time and time again. We can use Jake Paul. I hate using Jake Paul. We can use Jake Paul as a prime example. Jake Paul signed with the PFL or PLF. One of the two acronyms. He signed with them. Supposed to have a UFC fight over there. Kept on boxing. Said he wanted to translate over. He never went over. In fact, his contract got rendered null and void. They dropped him. Because the brother lied on that like he lied about everything else. Again, he's a bump. Despise Jake Paul with everything in me. I'm so glad he got knocked out. Still think he was taking something because that brother should not have been conscious after that straight right to the jaw, straight on the chin. No way he should have been conscious. The way his head shape has changed out throughout his career, not because he's gained weight. It ain't because he gained weight. No. So but again, speculation on my part. But he never went and fought. We've seen Sean O'Malley call out boxers. I think he even called out Terrence Crawford, saying, I'll beat you when I knock you out. Francis Ngannou went over from the UFC to boxing. Now, granted, he actually succeeded in some degree because he took Tyson Fury to 10 rounds. And arguably should have beat him. And then got knocked out by Anthony Johnson, but still, valiant performances. Especially that first one. But we've seen this kind of time before. He's just trying to get it back. He's trying to talk his way up into the sport. If I'll be completely honest, as much as great as I respect Buckley, he is not as great to the point that he can say, yeah, you're worth that bag to come over to boxing and be able to do something great. Shoot, if you ain't even Conor McGregor, it was only but an initiative that started this whole trend against Floyd Mayweather. Before that, years ago, it was Ali versus Antonio Inoki, but that was a wrestler. And at one time, one of the biggest wrestlers in all across the Eastern board. So we've seen this stuff happen. But now it's more rampant than ever. It's because they see the bag is there. It also speaks to UFC ain't paying the people as much so that they can just stick to their sport. Because each art is beautiful in its own right. But my gosh, they're trying to come over to boxing because they're getting paid up. One fight in boxing can make them their entire paycheck in the UFC for their career 3 times over. 3 times over. Look at Nate Diaz. He got paid more in the UFC fight in a fight with Jake Paul than his entire UFC career under Dana White. And he was one of the most popular, polarizing, and talked about figures in the UFC as a whole. It's a problem. It's a big problem. But he's just doing that for a bag. He won't fight him. He can't fight. Not in boxing. He can't do that. I guarantee he'll gas out within 5 rounds. I know that for a fact. And Crawford is not going to the UFC. We know this. The only person that was able to do that recent has been Clarissa Shields, and she's 1-1. Which, again, testament to her. I'm not knocking her. Getting credit that she was able to do it. But each is in their vein. because that's what they train for. Absolutely. But he's just trying to get a bag. So don't buy into the whole stuff because he's trying to get a bag. Let me see. John Conley, what's going on with it? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. We appreciate it. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Hopefully you leave a like on the video. Keep on commenting. Keep on chatting. Talk about whatever you want to discuss because this is championship rounds. We got topics and agendas like Ryan Garcia, like with Mario Barrios and his fight, like with Usyk, like with Boots in his versus Virgil Ortiz that got announced today in the last hour. We got a whole bunch of stuff to discuss as well as if you're an NBA fan, we can talk about that. If you're an NFL fan, we can talk about that. Fridays are designated to talk about everything that we can in the sports world that piques your interest. So we want to hear from you, absolutely. Let me see what you got to say on today. I'm a hardcore boxing fan and could care less about the UFC, but Buckley wasn't lying. Those UFC guys are lethal in the street fight. No, they are. Absolutely they are. That's why, again, each art is built for a different thing. Absolutely. I am not knocking that, in a street fight, Buckley would have an advantage because of the fact, again, the takedown, submissions, grappling, and all that stuff, they trained it as a consistent part of their routine. When it comes to straight up throwing hands, they get beat every time from the standpoint of boxing. Because that all, literally, you talk about Ilia Topuria as a striking specialist, who what he's doing right now, straight up on the feet. He's the most lethal striker that we got in the UFC right now. Legit. And he's straight up just boxing. But that's not the whole sport. It ain't. You can be successful, sure. But it doesn't take just that one weapon. You got to have it all. You got to have it all for the UFC. Kind of a jack of all trades and a master of none. Well, for some people, it's a master of multiple different things, but you are dipping your toes in a bunch of different aspects. So all of your game, striking may not be as refined, but you can handle yourself in more different situations. Absolutely. Oh, we understand that completely. That's why you never see me talking when it comes to comparing the two. Because I know in different settings what would happen with each other. Save for maybe a few people that could handle themselves in both aspects. Because it is a different game. It's a different game. Let me see. Boots is going to Merck Ortiz. Look, we got a lot of different sentiments, man. Everybody's been talking about this fight now, and I think Boots is going to beat Ortiz as well. Now, again, if he murks him, that would be ridiculous. That would be insane. Because we understand the talent of Virgil Ortiz. That is not a pushover in the slightest. That ain't a pushover at all when it comes to the likes of Ortiz. My gosh, no. But if he did do that, whoo! Again, the ripple effects of what that win would be phenomenal. And he would be seen as a talent, as the best at 154, no question. As a talent. He wouldn't be the king of the division because he wouldn't have the belts. But he would be the uncrowned king because nobody else, you ain't saying nobody else is going to beat him if he does do that. Same thing with Virgil Ortiz if he beats Boots in. So it's going to be a great fight, man. I'm so excited it's actually going down. I can't wait to see it. Let me see. Who's the better fighter, or who is the better fighter, boxing or UFC? As a holistic fighter, a UFC fighter is seen as a better fighter. Because again, street fight, even Terrence Crawford's a street fight, man. Terrence Crawford even said it himself. Mike Tyson even said it. But a street fighting, it ain't boxing. Yeah, you can knock somebody out. And most folks, they can't fight with grappling. But if you get somebody that actually knows MMA or martial arts of those monikers, you can be put in trouble. Because they know how to handle themselves in situations that you don't. As well as the unpredictable nature of the environment. Trees, rocks, bottles, weapons, abroad. No matter what you got on, it's a different game. So as a whole well-rounded fighter, UFC fighter is built more holistically. Specializing is what boxing is. Now, I love it. That doesn't detract from it. We've seen multiple times people that try to grapple, but if they get caught with the uppercut, they done. If they can't get their hands on them, all of a sudden they get pieced up. Each is a vice versa against the other. It can happen. Like I said, I use Ilia Topuria not as a means of just trying to hammer in a different one example, but that brother Charles Oliveira is arguably the greatest submission artist we've seen in MMA history. And he got knocked out in 2 minutes just by the fact that he closed the gap to get in a position to potentially grapple and get a submission laid in. By proxy, he was getting in the vein. He got put to sleep with quicker punches that he could react to. This does not mean that we're demeaning one or the other. Yes, as a whole, you're better built for a fight. But there's a reason why Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man that has 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 1,000 times. Because of the fact that though you are well-rounded still, the specialization makes it, this one weapon is going to be able to work in most situations. If it fails, yeah, I'm in trouble. Most likely it won't fail. But as a pure fighter, UFC fighters are built better, well-rounded. Absolutely. However, that does not detract from the fact that as a boxer, you have a significant advantage in a department where at the start of a fight, every fight starts in the same way, on the feet. On the feet. If you get put in a different situation, yeah, you can be put in trouble. But if you ain't, and you can keep that posture, you got an advantage, because now in the vein where most of the action takes place, guess what? You are in better control due to the fact that your specialization allows you to operate in a way that at that level they can't compete with. But if they close that gap and get around that, well, then you're in trouble. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why one doesn't, that's why, you want a perfect example? James Toney, off of the backs of having one of the greatest careers we've ever seen, 76-5, 40-something KOs, one of the greatest defensive fighters and straight up powerful counterpunchers we had ever seen. Literally untouchable at one point in time in his career. Heavyweight champion, middleweight champion, gone through the ringer. Light heavyweight, done it all. He went to the UFC and said, yo, I can just box these folks out and y'all can't do nothing with me. I don't need all that grappling. I don't need all that fancy stuff, submissions. We fight. You can't touch me. And guess what? I can do whatever I want to you. But he got submitted in less than 2 minutes in the first round of a low-level UFC fight. That shows you. It's a different game. It's a different breed. Now, I will say this. If a boxer learns the aspects of MMA, even at a basic degree, all of a sudden, they ramp up immensely as to the threat level. You want a perfect example of how I know? Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou was nothing but a big-time striker. Powerful punch. One of the greatest hitters. We literally recorded the strongest punch in human history in modern day. Still holds that record. Remember he got beat. And he got out-grappled and he couldn't do a doggone thing. And then he went against Stipe. I believe it was Stipe. In a rematch. And he stuffed the takedowns. And all of a sudden, Stipe couldn't grapple. Next thing you know, everybody was saying, oh my gosh, there's nothing he can do. And that's exactly what happened. He got put to sleep. Miocic got knocked out. One of the greatest heavyweights in UFC history got knocked out straight up. All because Ngannou got decent at the ability to grapple and be defensive when it came to dealing with the mixed martial arts of MMA. And then on the feet, caught him with a short left hook. Caught him with a right straight that buzzed him. left hook that had him deleted off of the face of your shut down like a computer. He couldn't because he couldn't outstrike him. He had to grapple. You saw what he did against Cyril Gahn. When Cyril Gahn wasn't able to strike him, he tried to take him down, and all of a sudden, on a torn ACL, I believe, or meniscus in both knees, he went and stopped Cyril Gahn's takedowns. And fought on the ground. So he could just be able to keep control. And there was nothing Gahn can do. If a boxer can learn even the basic aspects of UFC, all of a sudden they become a weapon that everybody is like, oh, you better watch out. My gosh, I don't know what to do. Because that specialization backed by a foundation, that'd be great, just a foundation of grappling, of any other martial art, just to have, okay, I know what I'm doing. Changes the game immensely. Immensely. For UFC fighters, it's not the same though, because of the fact that with them, their specialization, again, with the grappling, with the takedowns and all that stuff, is beautiful. Striking wise, to catch up to their level of expertise that boxers have garnered, boxing their entire life, that gap can't close. It's not as manageable. But if a prime striker can learn to really grapple, operate in the clinch, understanding takedown defense, even just getting used to, okay, a kick, how do you stop that? All of a sudden, they're so well versed in this other specialization that then, if you can keep control where you want to be, it changes the dynamic of the fight immensely. It changes. I want the UFC to add striking matches. Just stand up. I mean, like, so it sounds like you just want some kickboxing. It sounds like you just want more time. It sounds like you just want more time or straight up kickboxing. K1 is a perfect way to have that type of rhetoric. It is. That's what it sounds like you want. Because let's be honest. Let's have this conversation. If it was straight up, the current, I'm trying to make sure I got my names correct for the best strikers in the UFC. But if it were just straight up a stand-up league for the UFC, who would it be? Ilya Tapora, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. You would have to throw John Jones in there. I wouldn't throw Charles Oliveira, though he can be entertaining. I don't know if he would belong on that list. Derek Lewis, but with the highest knockout ratio in UFC history. Of course, again, though he's not with the UFC, Francis Ngannou would be in that same vein. Volkanovski could he's one of the better in his prime. He's one of the best well-rounded stand-up or well-rounded UFC fighters completely. I don't know about at this point in time. He might belong. I don't know. There would be some names, absolutely. But I'm going to tell you this, it will be completely one-sided. I forgot. Alex Pereira. I forgot. Alex Pereira. Yeah. Alex Pereira. Imagine that. Alex Pereira ain't nothing. You can't take him down. You just have to strike him. My gosh. A prime Israel Adesanya. Lord. Though he's, again, tail end now, but it was, you know what's funny? The UFC has just striking. They have that. You know that, right? They have that. Because they have Zuffa boxing. that's literally, they have that. They have Zuffa. That's what Zuffa's for. That is literally what Zuffa is for. to have a straight up all striking portion of the UFC where it's straight nothing but you're punching and you're on the feet. That's Zuffa. It's just hands. Zuffa is just hands. But it's probably the closest thing you're gonna get. And look, hey, I say that. I say that because we've been critical of Zuffa. You yelling no, gosh, you yelling no, like it's but look, you walk with me. I'm going somewhere with this. I say that because Zuffa is an avenue that if this works, okay, we can do maybe some other things. Mind you, these branching out paths of what Dana White may be trying to do. Most likely, if slap boxing didn't work and didn't get the pot, though again, I do believe it's a ridiculous sport because there's no, like that's just, that could be because of it, there's no defense. You can't properly defend yourself in power slap. It's straight up. It's free CTE without any form of skill to like, oh, I can evade. That's just dangerous. That's not fighting. That's just dangerous. Straight up. But if that didn't work and gain any type of traction like it did, most likely we wouldn't have seen Zuffa be a factor, especially this soon around the time that we're seeing Turkey and all this stuff work and grow. But because that worked, it opened up the branch for now we can look into other avenues beyond this UFC. And now Zuffa exists. If Zuffa works, we can see an avenue where maybe we get a K1-esque branching league where it's nothing but straight up striking. We can't. Think about it. They also started the straight up all grappling league. UFC got a whole thing where it's straight up nothing but grappling. Nothing but, no straight up grappling and submissions. Because, again, the slow branching off of stuff. Let's see how stuff grows and works. If we see Zuffa work, it opens up the door to have potentially that type of striking, like full-blown, straight-up on-feet striking type league, be a completely separate entity. It can. Now, let me see. I want hands, feet, elbows, knees, and head. But well, you want head. Good gosh, you just want shoot. You, but you. What you know? There's a league over. I think there's a league in Indonesia that lets you use all of that. It's not Muay Thai, but it's something else. But there's a league somewhere where you can use headbutts, all that stuff, knees, 12-6 type elbows, all that. And it's like you got kids to adults doing it. I can't remember. I know I saw it years ago. I can't remember what it was, but I know it exists. That may be your bread and butter. It might be your bread and butter. And because it's violence incarnate, no question about it. Now, on the second half of the Zuffa thing, I do want to paint a picture that you may not expect just as a conversation. Zuffa, with how it works, if it does turn successful, mark my words, especially if we do start seeing real money coming in that even the top level at the UFC ain't getting, we can start to see fighters sift out of the UFC MMA formula and go and say, I'm fighting in Zuffa now. I don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. This is, think about it. This is a literal pipeline, as Dana White has said, that is going to be used for the world stage for a lot of people to get the Ring Magazine Championships and to have Zuffa belt be a legitimate belt that has the world not just on notice, but has you signify to the globe you're one of the people to beat. It can get you a lot of money, especially with how boxing works. It's going to be more money than what we see in the main scene with the MMA when you get to the top level. Don't be surprised if we see Max Holloway, Ilya Tapora, Alex Pereira, who's been saying he also wants to think about going into boxing, with the already established stardom, and with Zuffa now being a hand-in-hand potential tool to make fights with bigger names, you could have an actual viability for those fighters that have always said they want to get into boxing. I'm thinking about making a transition later on to do it. Buckley even said, though he's trying to get a bag against Crawford, I've been wanting to get a fight with the likes of whatchamacallit, Terrence Crawford. And I've been wanting to get into boxing for a minute. It's always been something I've been wanting to do, even though that's a common phrase that we see everybody always say. But still, don't be surprised if all of a sudden we see Buckley lose, 3 fights? It's like, you know what? I'm making a transition. This MMA thing is going on the downtrend. Still want to make some money. I'm still athletic enough that I got at least some time to make a change, go over here, and try to get a bigger bag than I thought I could ever get, or that I've been able to get here in the UFC. I got a road. I'm going to take it. A lot of older fighters that at the tail end of their prime may look at Zuffa, if we see Zuffa getting money, legit getting money, as a way to get the money they should have gotten for their career. And they'll make the switch. It'll be like a wild thing, and then they'll see like, oh, okay, this is part of that pipeline that people are talking about. Not just signing other stars, but also taking their stars that maybe, and I don't say this in a mean way, I say this from the acumen of what we've seen with how Dana White and other people think. In business sense, these assets lost value over here, but they can gain value over here. You can do all this other stuff. And it can happen. It can work. It can work. It can work. At least for the monetary. So we can see how it goes. Absolutely. Also, I think, buddy, you had put up something else on the chat. Here it is. Let me see. Welch, are you on X Spaces? I got an idea for a monetization quickly. Let's make that X Space thing. I don't even think I got Twitter Blue. I think I actually had to redo my whole social media. I think like that, Twitter, TikTok, and a couple of the platforms. I'm kind of like retooling to some degree because either stuff got banned for no apparent reason or stuff just ain't working. So we kind of got to retool. So I ain't got one yet. If I got an account, it's in the process of we're cleaning up house. We're under construction right now. It's a one-man band. We're under construction right now. So we're making some, we're too far to notice. We're trying to make some stuff work. See, this is the hard part of trying to make stuff go. Oh Lord, let me see. I got a game-changing idea, and would like you to get in the bag with. I'm down for it. Like I said, everybody's trying to make their own way, and we all trying to make moves ourselves. So I'm open to opportunities and ideas, no question about it. We're gonna vet them. We're gonna see how it goes. So if it lines up with the current landscape of plan that we got for this channel and for the moves that we're making as a community, absolutely, we're down for it. And no question. But it all starts first and foremost. And I'll be the first one to raise my hand. Make sure I got my stuff set. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying. I'm being transparent. We're trying to make sure my stuff is set. And then, yes, absolutely, we opportunities and all this collaboration we can work with. Like I said, we're trying to get as big. We're trying to get bigger than showbiz. We're trying to get bigger. We're trying to get bigger than most of you, than Legend of Winning in the NBA, than showbiz and boxing. We're trying to get bigger in every aspect of it. We're trying to make it so that we got people reaching out to us. Oh, yes, indeed. Working our way into the televisions of you and yours all across the globe. Shoot, we don't even need television. We're trying to get big enough to where we're the platform. We're the Pat McAfee show. We're bigger than that. That's what we're trying to get to. We're big. It's Club Shay Shay, but it's the Welch Report. Okay, we got the juice. Well, you know what? Actually, no, I can't say that. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. O.J. Simpson. I don't know if I can say that no more. O.J. Simpson. I don't know if I can say that no more. I don't know if I can use that phrase. I don't know if I can use the juice is loose. I don't know if I can go down that road no more. Because of very poor choices over the years. We'll come up with a tagline somehow. But either way, we running wild. We're gonna make it. I'm sorry. I'm cracking myself up. I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun with y'all. I do apologize. Oh shoot. Oh Lord. See that's one of the bad things about history. There's when context changes. My gosh, stuff that was very clever, you can't do no more because justifiably so. Because it's understandably tainted. So we gotta. Now, I will say, Welch Report, Welch's Juice. Hey, Welch's, the company, reach out to me. In fact, y'all owe me some residuals. Okay, I've been carrying this thing for 23 years, and y'all still ain't giving me a dime for nothing. Carried that thing in that lunchbox when I was a kid for decades, and what y'all got? I ain't getting not one check. I ain't getting money taken in there. In fact, I ain't getting not one even with. I'm living. That's my first thing. If I'm gonna get an ad, the first ad I'm looking for, I'm getting Welch's Juice or Welch's products. I ain't getting them. I ain't doing them gummies though. Well, they pay me a bag. I'll eat them. I don't like gummies, but I'll eat them. I'll do whatever I got to do. But Welch's, I'm coming for you. But we about to have a tandem that's built. It's written in the stars. It's written. You see, as clear as these tassels on my room. As much as they shimmer and shine, that's gonna be what you see on your front door if you work with me. Oh yeah, if you partner with me. Give me some spot. We'll be drinking. And this cup will be filled with nothing but red. Y'all be thinking I'm drinking alcohol. Now y'all think I'm drinking. Y'all will think I will get the stinking champagne bottles. The sparkling water, sparkling cider, all that stuff. We talking about the grape juice, the cranberry, the raspberry, the concoct. We will have a whole mocktail of Welch's products right on this wall that I will be pouring out and making as if I am as if I'm a stinking a sommelier. When it comes to those wine, when it comes to those the people that deal with wine, is it a sommelier, whatever it's called. You're gonna see me in them clear glasses, smelling the stuff, ringing it around the glass, taking a sip. We're gonna be doing. I will wear a tux. You gonna think this is just gonna be a straight up. It's gonna be a taste test, and that's what it's gonna be. We'll change out this whole dynamic of this show. Y'all, we won't even talk sports. We'll just be drinking all day long. We'll turn this into a lounge. That's what they'll make it happen. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. We'll make it work, man. Whoo, that's funny. We'll make it work. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to go off track, but we're just having such a good time. We're having such a great day. We're almost 3 hours in. We're almost 3 hours into this show. My gosh, that was actually my cutoff. I knew we said we were gonna go long, but we got we can't go too long because y'all still got lives, and I gotta make sure I get some stuff done this afternoon. So we might have to actually wrap this up in a little bit. We'll do the safe thing. We'll hit the emergency button and we'll do the old last call for the world of boxing and for the world of this show. In the last 15 minutes, 10 minutes to ask any more questions, comments, and concerns to make stuff worthwhile. We want to hear from you on all of your opinions, thoughts, and discussions on the world of boxing and beyond, movie, sports, television, video games, the NBA, the NFL, all that stuff. We want to hear from you for the last, 10 to 15 minutes of this show. Once we hit 3 hours, I do have to dip because I got some responsibilities I got to handle, but even still, we're going to make this show still end off on a high note. So get your last questions together. Get your last responses. It's your time to shine. Let's see what you got to say. Come on. Let's end the show off strong, shall we? Yes, indeed. And we're going to make it do what it do. Absolutely. Let me see. I provide protection services. Well, dang. Hey, look, the second I get big enough that I need some protection, Lord knows, I'll reach out to you. We're going to have an entourage. I'm going to be walking out of my house like I am Floyd Mayweather. We're going to have an excessive greed of people. We're going to have people moving out of the way. I'm be getting ice cream. And we're just going to have people walking around like saying, you remember that? You know what it was? It's going to be funny. You remember that Denzel Washington, Spike Lee, Malcolm X, when they were making the cops fearful because they were because all of Malcolm X's supporters were stood out in front of I think it was the police station, and they all walked up the street, and all that buddy did was hold his hand up, and they stopped, and then he pointed, and then they left, and then they just walked away. That's how I'm gonna be moving. That's your doggone right. We're gonna have a stick. Hey, look, we call this the Empire, don't we? Huh? We call this an empire. We're gonna be moving like it. We're gonna be moving 200 people deep. And I'm gonna be like, I just want some food. Oh, we getting food. And we're just gonna be, and, we ain't gonna be scared. We're gonna be nice people out there. But we're gonna be moving like a sticking delegation. It's gonna be great. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be oh Lord. But like I said, enough of my aspirations and dreams of the future of what this channel could be and what hopefully this career path I've chosen is going to be. We want to hear from you, and we want to also make sure we still edify you with the last 10 minutes of the show, still give you some stuff and a bunch of things to discuss and to sit you honing on for the perspective of the boxing and sports world as a whole, as it stands. Because there's still so much on the table in lieu of everything involving boxing and people moving up and moving down that we discussed earlier with the likes of Shakur, with the likes of Devin Haney, with the likes of Boots Ennis, there's another brother that we also need to discuss that can move up and down. Though he hasn't been talked about as much, he's got a mega fight on the way against Nakatani. That's why we're talking about Naoya anyway. The monster, the behemoth, the myth himself. One of the questions that would be brought up about him in lieu of this mega fight that's going down in May is, can he dominate another division? And per the words of, well, I'm not even going to say per the words, per the question of what we saw from inside the ring with LaShawn McCoy, Matt Skellerman, that whole crew, he has some very interesting opinions on it. I'm going to play that clip, and I'm going to let you, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion on it, absolutely. Let me see, what do you think about Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gahn at the White House? Now, I didn't know that White House event was still happening, but if it is happening, and this is the matchup, I do think that Alex Pereira can win and will win against Cyril Gahn. Though, the offensive, some will call it an anomaly from the standpoint of fluidity that we see with Cyril Gahn is amongst some of the best in the entirety of the heavyweight division. I don't know, especially as he's gotten up in age, not taking into account again that Jones Jr. or not Jones Jr. that John Jones fight we got submitted quick and in a hurry. Not taking that into account. Strictly with the striking ability, that's going to be the thing to keep him off of him. I don't know if that is now enough to be able to say, okay, he could keep Pereira at bay with that length, with that reach, as well as with that latent speed. I do think that Pereira would be able to get him, would be able to close that distance, and especially, it's going to sound crazy, but in that clinch, if it gets to a point where Pereira gets gone to the cage, And they get in that kind of quote unquote collar and elbow tie up. I'm not saying that's the right term for it, but the best thing where Pereira's got an advantage. Boy, Gon better be careful. Not even careful, you better get out of Dodge. Because I know for a fact that Pereira has, it's not just about the damaging power, it is the legit sneakiness of his shot. We compared to a boxer we brought up multiple times on this show, George Foreman. One of the biggest aspects about what made George Foreman so hard to read, as well as so hard to beat, was even though that brother was throwing 100 miles an hour, from the standpoint of full force, I'm coming to kill you. Literally, I'm coming to kill you. He would be throwing all of his shots at the same slot. As in, his hook, his uppercut, all looked the same when it was coming out. So until the last second, you didn't know if he was throwing an overhand, a straight up hook, or an uppercut straight up, because it would all come from the same slot. And he would change it mid-punch. It was ridiculous. You couldn't tell where the punch was coming. Especially in the volley of fear and danger. Prayer was the same thing. I've seen that brother throw a hook, a straight-on uppercut. And I'm like, I didn't know he was going to do that. I didn't. I've seen him throw a hook and then slightly change that angle at mid-flight to go and catch the ball. And he's got enough speed to where, yeah, he doesn't need to catch you hard. He just got to tap you. It's that much of a unusual, almost inhuman level type of one-hitter quitter ability. Doing that against Cyril Gahn, coupled with the fact that, those checks that he can throw to the legs, that even if you do block them, brother, you're still getting tinged up. And you can't read that either. That type of overwhelming offensive presence can take hold of the psyche of Gahn. We can see him get put to sleep. Now, I do think he will get put to sleep. Now, if Gahn beats him, again, he's bigger. He has the power that he can hurt. Alex Pereira, he does. This is heavyweight now. Anybody can crack. And potentially grappling, if he gets him on the ground, maybe he can do some real damage. But he's not a ground fighter. It's a feet-on-feet type situation. And again, the multiplicity of skill sets versus somebody who's more primarily specialized. In terms of Alex Pereira, two specializations, the low kicks and the hooks. And straight up, the stand-up. And we'll talk about polish, Pereira's more polished. He is. He just is. And so because of that, I think we'll see Pereira win. And if he does, at heavyweight, if he does do that, Dana White may have said that John Jones is retired. John Jones may have said John Jones is retired. Pereira beats Gahn. John Jones coming out of retirement for that fight, for that money, for that bag that would be guaranteed as one of the biggest UFC bags in history. You best believe he's coming out of retirement for that. Arthritis or not, he's coming out for that. He's coming out of retirement. Because this ain't no Tom Aspinall. John Jones, you can say that John Jones would have beaten him. Fine. That's perfectly fine. I think he would have too. But at the same breath, he ducked Tom Aspinall. Because he should have been able to fight. He should have fought him years ago. Now they're waiting around for this interim champion to finally, he's out of action. Now you ain't worth my time. Bump him there. You should have been already fought Tom Aspinall. Instead of holding the division hostage. At the same breath, you thought Tom Aspinall was too big of a threat. Now, Pereira's, if he beats Gahn, he's just as big of a threat. And he is worth the date, worth the time, worth the money. Because that will probably be one of the 5 biggest sold out UFC events we've ever seen. I guarantee you. Especially with Paramount, with the eyes on that sport, with the already established stardom of Alex Pereira. My gosh, you better believe. It'd be ridiculous. And he'd be insane. He'd come out of retirement for that. Or fight Tom Aspinall. After this is either Aspinall for his belt, if he does come back at the eye surgery, or John Jones. But either way, that's what's going to be taking place. I guarantee it. Let me see. Bad Buddy, gotta go. Hey, look, appreciate you tuning in. I'm just glad you showed up. Hopefully, like what we had going on. Thank you so much for tuning in on our show. We appreciate it so much. And we're right at the 3-hour mark right now. So perfect timing. So we're going to see if anybody else has anything that they want to say in regard to the sports world as a whole. We want to hear from you, your responses, your reaction on anything involving the world of boxing. Hey, if you do like this show, want to keep it going, Cash App, PayPal, links down below, Super Chat and Super Gifts and all that stuff. If you can give, would mean the world to me. Absolutely. Helps us to pay the bills. It helps us to keep the lights on and helps us to make this show even better for your viewing and listening pleasure. No question about it. But we want to see what you got to say. Is there anything else anybody has in response to this show as a host? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Last call. Last call. Last call. Anybody got anything else they want to say? If not, don't feel bad. We appreciate all your time. We appreciate you tuning in with us on this Friday edition of the Welch Report with me, Jean-Luc Welch, and with all of that being said, thank you all for tuning in and listening to this phenomenal Friday edition of the Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you all for showing up, showing out. Y'all were incredible. Y'all were phenomenal. We appreciate all of you and your support. Like I said, one more time, as a shameless plug, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below if you can support the channel, as well as Super Chat and gifts. If you would, give before you leave means the world to me. Helps us to invest into this show and pay bills, like I said before. And helps to make the show bigger, better, and stronger. All for your viewing and listening pleasure. Thank you to everybody who tuned into the chat. Y'all were phenomenal. Give yourselves a bow for this phenomenal show. All of you chatting and commenting. It was beautiful. It was incredible. For the top 5 chatters on this show, we had number 5. But per the rankings of YouTube, number 5 was I Just Want the Truth. Number 4 was Legendary Super Saiyan. Number 3 was Tay. Number 2 was Boxing Pro. And number 1 was Bad Buddy as the number 1 pound-for-pound chatter on this show. No question about it. We appreciate you tuning in. Can you hold that spot come next week? We're going to find out. We're going to be back here on Tuesday. Cover the world of boxing and beyond. All for your viewing and listening pleasure. Rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform. Go listen to us wherever you listen to your local podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Absolutely. No question about it. You all make this community great, and we appreciate you all so much. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. Be safe, be blessed, peace and love. All right here, yes sir. We're gonna see you all on Tuesday. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your night, or your afternoon rather. Enjoy everything you got going on, and we're gonna be back next week for more fun, action, and talk for your viewing and listening pleasure. Be back here, same time, same place, same channel, all for more fun and excitement. So be safe, be blessed one more time. Peace and love. Salute to you. We out.